Hello and welcome to Think Share. My name's Zach, here to bring to what I've been thinking about, sharing about, talking about, listening to, reading about that doesn't belong in math class. It's not on the standardized test to make you the goodest version of yourself. Today I have with me Kathryn from Australia, and she is the YouTube channel Wi-Fi Lifestylers. Say hi for us.
Hey.
I've challenged her to write a poem to join in on the 21-day poetry challenge, and I was going to ask her a couple of questions. It was probably a couple months ago. I was looking around at different channels that I felt sort of shared my enthusiasm for sort of building an online personal brand and creating something that mobilizes us, sort of like the 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss style. And I resonated with some of the things she was saying, and I thought to myself, this lady's YouTube channel is totally underrated. She has 4 subscribers. Let's change that. So if you're seeing this in the playback, I request you go, I hope that we can multiply her channel by like 2 or 3 times. I think we doubled it the other day just when I mentioned it and asked a couple people to subscribe. It was like went from 4 to 8. I'm just gonna go ahead and take credit for that one because I don't know where else they would have came from.
It was totally you.
I want to see if we can double it again. That'd be pretty cool. So
I really appreciate that.
we're gonna warm up before I let you. So she did say that I pushed her outside of her comfort zone writing the poem. So we save that for a little bit later. But I wanted to start off with, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your YouTube channel. Your Instagram has about 3,000 followers or more. Yeah, just like give us the story.
Okay, cool. Well, so I'm Kathryn. Now, I think about a year now ago, I was working for a call center selling car insurance for about 5 years. And for the longest time, I really, really enjoyed my job. Like, I was really good at it. I was winning lots of awards, all this kind of stuff. And I really did think I was going to have this job my whole life. It wasn't until I went on an 8-month trip overseas where I experienced what it meant to be truly free. Like, I spent some time in the jungle. I was volunteering with homeless dogs. Animal welfare is something that's really important to me, and I was able to sort of fulfill that passion. And yeah, I was able to do everything I was truly passionate about. And then when I went back to my insurance job, I expect to kind of be feeling the same way, like love the job, be really good at it, win all these awards. But like, I wasn't the same person. Like, I realized that selling car insurance is not fulfilling work. That's not where you get true fulfillment. Like, you get true fulfillment from something that is meaningful, that makes an impact, that something that makes a positive impact on the world. So I became really, really depressed at my job because of how misaligned it was to where I was in my life at the time. And it was around this time that I discovered an online educational platform that teaches you how to build an online business that you love. So you can build an online business around anything you're passionate about, anything that brings fulfillment to you. You don't have to work a 9-to-5 job, selling car insurance or, doing something that doesn't mean anything to you. There's so much more to life than this. So I found this online educational platform. It's taught me skills to build an online business around things I'm passionate about. I've been able to develop skills that I've always wanted to develop. I really love writing. So this journey has really helped me, pursue my passion of writing. And the other thing about having this online business is it's given me the freedom, geographical freedom, to actually work from anywhere, which is something I'm also passionate about. I don't want to be tied to a location. So that's kind of where I've come from and where I've ended up.
I feel like a lot of the people that I end up talking with these days that are creating YouTube channels and stuff, we all kind of love Gary Vaynerchuk. You're familiar with him?
Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like he was one of the. I feel like Tim Ferriss is like the godfather of leaving the 9 to 5 and figuring out some kind of business. And then
Yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk is like he's like the main personality. I feel like I haven't signed up for any courses or anything, but I just listen to him all the time, and I've been reading his books and just like YouTube tutorialing the crap out of everything that I can. I really like video influencers when it comes to trying to figure out small things. Like one thing I think you should consider doing is I've been binge watching a couple of your videos to get a better idea of some of the things you talk about. But like say you're talking about a book or something, you can have an Amazon affiliate account. Do you know about those?
Yeah, absolutely. You're so right. You're so right. I should be doing that.
Yeah, and I imagine that anytime you end up talking, like I feel like all the time I end up mentioning books and then I never put the link in. Part of it is because like I think after like a year or 6 months, if you don't sell anything, they like cancel your affiliate account and you have to apply again. But
Yeah.
I've been lazy and haven't gotten it again. So now that I have 2,000 subscribers and now that I just started getting monetized, I've been thinking I should probably get on that again. So I think that's something you should consider too, especially because you talk about this kind of stuff all the time.
I really appreciate you mentioning that. You're so right, because there's so many things that I do mention that's kind of aligned with the path that I'm on that can help other people who are on the same path. So you're right. I should be doing that.
And while I'm thinking about it, there's one thing that I would invite you to do. Now, I don't know how seriously you're trying to specifically take YouTube. It seems like you take Instagram pretty seriously, but when next time you go to edit your channel or play around with it at all, you can put a little Instagram icon in the banner of your YouTube channel. So like if you go to my main page, you'll see my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Anchor FM, and a link for my book. Like there's all these tiny little icons within the banner that I was looking for your Instagram one, but I had to click on to another video to find it.
Wow. I had no idea you could do that. That's awesome. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
By the way, to the viewers out there, we have 4 people watching right now. I'm honestly, I'm just gonna say this a lot. I love listening to the way you talk. Now, I'm from America, and I feel like all the time, whenever I'm trying to impersonate someone English, I always end up talking in a really bad fake Australian accent. So I'm going to be listening to you quite a bit today, trying to figure out how to speak with an Australian. I don't want to call it an Australian accent because it's not an accent to you, but like speak Australian, I guess you could say.
Yeah. We'll test you at the end, put you out of your comfort zone.
Sounds good. All right, so I got a couple different questions. Here's my first one. When you left car insurance and you decided like, all right, I'm definitely gonna do this, what was one of the main mindsets that you had to change that maybe you didn't quite see coming that you would have to change?
Oh my God. The biggest mindset change that happened was, and it's still happening. Like, I'm not saying that I'm completely there right now. It's been an ongoing progress, but I didn't realize this at the time, back when I was working in car insurance, but I had a very limited mindset of what was possible. And what I've realized as I've been going through this path is we're limitless. Like, we are only limited by our beliefs.
Right.
So yeah, so over this journey that I've been on, I'm slowly detaching myself from conditioning that I've had my entire life that has told me what I can and can't do. Now I know that I can do like whatever I want, like as long as I believe it's possible and I continue to, I never give up. I refuse to quit, and do whatever it takes. I will get to where I want to be. Like honestly, actually it's funny because 5 years ago, yeah, you know how on Facebook it says 5 years ago today, and then there's like a picture that you posted that day.
Yep.
There's a picture that I posted on Facebook 5 years ago from I think last week, which is a photo of me at my car insurance job wearing my pajamas. I've got my legs up on the table, and the caption was "Pajama day at work, yay!" Like I was really excited about that, and I looked down at myself and I was like, "Wow! Like every day is pajama day." And 5 years ago, I never would have thought that was possible. Like that to me, that was well beyond what I could, and that was my dream too. My dream was to have the freedom and flexibility to work from anywhere, to work in my pajamas. And now I'm living that life, and I had to go through that phase of, dropping down these belief systems that were limiting me and my potential. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not sure when it was for me. I think it was you ever heard of the Landmark Forum?
I've done the Landmark Forum, yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. Virtual high five. I'm a graduate too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the Forum Advanced course, Self-Expression Leadership Program, and Introduction Leaders Program, communication courses. I've done a stupid amount of Landmark courses.
Nice.
Yeah. Which ones have you done?
I've just done the Landmark Forum, but you know what? Ever since I've done it, like I want to go back. I want to do all the other courses because there are still things today. I did it like 6 years ago that are still stuck with me, like things that I still think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably, like, if I were to recommend a set of them, I would probably recommend doing the advanced course and then doing the Self-Expression Leadership Program.
Okay.
If you were to do nothing else, I think that would be really solid. But I feel like my own concept of what I was capable of totally changed after I did the Self-Expression Leadership Program, because they force you to they force you outside your comfort zone, like all day, every day. It's like a 3 or 4 month course, and you have a coach that the coach is also doing their own project, but you have like a weekly call with them saying like what you said you would do, what conversations you've had, have you done what you said you would do, and like you have a weekly accountability. You have 2 or 3 or 4 people that are in your group together that you guys all talk. You talk about what's going on between the few of you, and you have just a really great community pushing you. And I remember at that point, like before I took the course, I was like, yeah, like I understood the words that you could do anything you set the mind to, but I don't think I really felt that way.
Yeah.
After that course, I really felt that way, because I went from, it was like the first time I had sort of an out of the box idea actually turn into reality. And it was, I was a software developer. I mean, I'm a little bit similar to you, but I didn't jump to straight entrepreneur. But I was an engineer, a software developer. I really was not a fan of my job, and I switched to becoming a teacher, which I had to cut my pay in half. And in that process, at my job, I got 15 of my coworkers to volunteer free tutoring hours to a local high school, because we're all math nerds, and I wanted a way to bond my like coworkers together in a non-athletic way, because we were doing a ton of athletic things that I'd sort of organized, but I wanted to get them in and help in the community and have our company be recognized as someone that helps. So after I did that, and then like some newspaper wrote an article about me, I was like, holy poop, like I'm capable of some stuff. That's awesome. And
that's awesome. That's powerful too.
Yeah. So if you're going to do anything else, I would recommend advanced course in SELP, and you could call it a day there. Once you get in there, everyone wants to invite you into the course that they're taking at the time. But yeah, those are the top ones. If you were to keep going, I would recommend wisdom. I ended up writing my book and pretty much starting my YouTube channel out of the wisdom course.
Wow. You've like legit really inspired me. Like I will definitely do them.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well,
I appreciate all the tips here and there. Like, I really do.
I'm glad to hear it. I feel like sometimes I wish Landmark had sort of a traditional marketing style, because I think a lot of people are really turned off by the fact that it's 100% word of mouth advertising. And
Yeah.
people really want to register, and like their lives are really changed. So I've been on both sides of it, where it's like my life's been really changed. I want to share with people, and people are like, stop trying to get me to do stuff. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I'll lay off, but like really unbelievable courses. So that makes sense why I think something about people have done some of those courses, or just the forum, like there's a certain magnetism that I feel like a lot of people, a lot of graduates sort of emanate. I think that's an appropriate word. That must have been part of why what you were talking about resonated.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next one is, as you've converted over to entrepreneurism, and it seems like so you're a writer.
Yeah.
And you've been working on that. How's that going?
It's amazing. Like, so I've been writing a diary every single day since I was about 12 years old. I'm 28 now. So every single day since I was 12 years old, I've been writing. So it is something that I really, really enjoyed. But when I was working my call center job, like, I mean, there wasn't really much time for anything other than that. Like, you know, long commutes, work however many hours, come home tired, go to bed. Like, you don't really have time or energy to pursue anything else. But yeah, since being on this journey, not only do I have more time to pursue things I'm truly passionate about, but it's empowered me to sort of share that, like, my passions with other people, because this online education teaches you how to share a message with thousands of people, as opposed to just kind of one-on-one. Like, it's online marketing. It's or having an online presence. So I have written a few blogs about overcoming limiting mindsets, and the first blog I ever wrote was basically my experience of waking up and realizing that I was in a rat race.
Yeah.
I like that one. And yeah, like, I've just really been enjoying blogging. And
is that the wifilifestylers.com website?
Yeah, there's like a blogs section.
Okay.
I think there's 3 blogs in there that I've put up so far.
So Clifford, coming to your question about, someone actually asked right before you said it, does Kathryn blog? I don't know if you saw his comment, but if you go to the wifilifestylers.com link in the description, you can find those.
Yeah, /blog or blogs. We'll just go to the website. There's like a blog tab.
So you've done some blogging. Are you planning so Clifford, who's in the comments right now, I've interviewed him, and I'm going to be talking with him on Saturday about a book he's working on writing. Do you see yourself writing a book in the future?
You know, I actually want to turn like, as I mentioned, I've been writing a diary every day since I've been 12, and it's amazing to see sort of how, like, I've developed over time. Like, I've basically captured every person I've met, every lesson I've learned, every challenge I've overcome. Like, just keeping that diary has been so empowering, and I've learned so many lessons by doing that. And I want to turn that into a book, because I feel like some of the things that I've learned along the way, and the fact that I've documented it, because a lot of these things people just kind of learn it and they kind of forget about it, and they just adapt it into their lifestyle without realizing the point in which this change happened in them. So I want to document that in a book to share with others.
Sort of like
that will be later down the track.
Like a memoir?
Sorry, what was that?
Like a memoir?
Yeah, I think so. Or even like a TV series, because it kind of feels that way, because there's like dramas and you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I've been, I think the last 415 days or something, I've been doing a daily YouTube video. So my friend Zach was telling me that like in a decade or so, it'll be really cool. I'll be able to look back, and it's almost a little bit like a daily diary. It's
Yeah. Yep.
you end up sharing one small life update along the way, but at the same time, it's like I'm trying to educate my viewers or something. So it'd be
You know what?
really cool to have this as like a diary almost.
You wouldn't, the thing though, like if you were to watch back at your videos, you wouldn't just be watching, like you mentioned, like talking about little things that happen in your life here and there. Yeah, you'll see that unfold. But what you're really going to see is the personal growth that you go through in your videos. Because I did a 90-day video challenge. So I was shooting a video every day for 90 days.
Yeah,
I
was looking for those videos. Where do those exist?
I don't have all of them uploaded to YouTube, but basically within that community that I'm a part of, this online educational platform, it's also a community of thousands of entrepreneurs all supporting each other, helping each other with their growth. And we've got a Facebook community within this community called the 90-day video challenge group. So yeah, so we all shoot a video every day for 90 days, and it's just incredible to watch how everybody's journey and how much personal growth everybody goes through in those 90 days. Yeah. It's not just the content that they're talking about in the videos, but it's also, you can tell from them as a person that they're growing and they're developing through the journey. Like I remember watching the first video I ever shot, like you could tell that I was just never shot a video of myself in my life, and I was just so nervous. And yeah, and then by the end of it, I had opened up so much. So obviously you're very confident on video as it is, but I guarantee you're going to see so much growth unfold in your videos.
By the way, have your nerves worn off yet?
I'm still a little bit nervous, to be honest, which is so weird because like I've done the 90 videos, but like completely, I don't know. I haven't done an interview like this before, so.
What other kind of interview? Well, I saw the interview you did with one of the other women from SFM. Have you done other interviews?
I've just done the interview with her. Most of the videos that I do is me like doing a selfie, a selfie video. So that's probably why I feel a little bit nervous with this interview, but I'm fine.
So a question from the chat from Gemma Grace is, Kathryn, do you have any hobbies?
Yeah, I do have hobbies. So one of the big reasons that I wanted to create this life of freedom was a number of things. My biggest passion, hobby, whatever you want to call it, is travel. I'm really big on travel. Like if you find me on Instagram, wifi.lifestylers, you'll find all of the video. Sorry?
I'm telling the viewers it's in the description too.
It's in the description, yeah. So wifi.lifestyle is on my Instagram. I've got heaps of photos from my travels. Big on travel. I'm more big on like being in nature. So there's lots of hiking pictures, like with amazing views, swimming in lakes. Yeah, so I guess my hobbies would be traveling, nature. Also, animal welfare. Like I know that's a weird hobby to have, but it is something I'm truly, truly passionate about. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but I think I did. When I was in Peru, I spent a month volunteering with homeless dogs, getting them off the street, taking them to the vet, feeding them, loving them because they don't get love. They get treated terribly in Peru. Like they see dogs as worse than, I don't even know, but yeah. So yeah, animal welfare is something I'm really passionate about and think I want to create more freedom in my life so I can volunteer for these kind of causes that are really important to me.
Yeah.
And then writing is obviously a big hobby of mine. And yeah, it's all I can really think of right now.
And then another question, which I don't know that you've answered this question, although I'm sure you've touched on elements of what your answer will be. So Gemma also asked, how do you feel now, or it says, how does Kathryn feel now that she can be fully independent, working for herself without society's limits? And I feel like the trail end there, without society's limits. I think that was an interesting part of her question. And a little bit of background on Gemma is she has autism, and that's what her whole channel is kind of about, is empowering and bringing up the conversation for people to be empowered, and for those that have autism or on the spectrum, for them to break past society's limits. I feel like the limits I remember, I think it was about a year ago, I was hanging out with some friends, and there were some other people I didn't know there, and we're on like a rooftop, and I was talking with these like two girls that joined in on our conversation. We're talking about real estate and saying, you know, we're interested in buying real estate, and they're like, oh, why? Like, if you could just, like, why? And I said, well, because I'd like to have enough passive income that I can work because I want to, not because I have to. And like, what do you mean? Like, what? I don't get it. And I was like,
Yeah.
you know, like have income coming in so that you don't have to work. You can just work because you want to. Like, no, like you have to work. Like, yeah, you have to do that. I was like, no, you don't. And so I guess that's the society limit that Gemma's talking about.
Yeah. I love that you asked that question, Gemma, because that's actually been a really big topic in my household. Me and my housemate have been talking about this a lot, where, yeah, society puts so many limits on us and what's possible, and we're conditioned from such a young age to only believe that, you know, like, to believe that we have to work a 9-to-5 job, and we have to, you know, go to uni and get a good job and have a family and all this kind of stuff. But like, no, that's not true. Like, our life can be whatever we want it to be. And so, yeah, I've just been talking to my housemate recently about like breaking down those limitations and those barriers that society puts on us, because they're all illusionary. They're not real. The only thing that's real is the limits that we put on ourselves. And I do truly, truly believe, like in the past, I knew this on a logical sense, but now I truly believe and I truly feel that we are limitless beings. Like, we can literally achieve anything we want to. And you know what? You asked, how do I feel since being fully independent? That's how I feel. I truly feel limitless. Whereas before, when I was working at an insurance job, I felt confined in the rat race. And now I'm free. Freedom. That's like, yeah, that's how I feel. I feel free, limitless, fulfilled. I feel like I have purpose in my life, which is something that I was really, really lacking when I was selling car insurance. So yeah, all of those things.
So another question, because I'm sure there's plenty of entrepreneurs out there that are going to be watching this. I would describe myself as an entrepreneur, but at the same time, I'm not willing to take the leap and like try to support myself off of running a business. So I mean, my main entrepreneurism income would be through YouTube, and so far in the past week, I've earned like $8.
Nice.
So the my question for you is, what have been some struggles that like did you have it set up that you were earning enough through your online business before you left insurance, or did you take the leap and you're like, I'm gonna figure this out and I'm gonna figure out how to support myself even if I'm not earning enough right off the bat?
That's a good question, because I basically did something that a lot of people say you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
So when I first, so I was feeling so miserable at my 9-to-5 job. I was at a point where I felt trapped, unfulfilled, and I wanted more freedom, wanted to live with more passion, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And when I was feeling that kind of like feeling trapped, that's when I discovered this online educational platform that teaches you how to build an online business. Yeah. And so without really thinking about it in the way that I should have, I just made a very quick decision and quit my job within 3 days. So, and this is a job that I had for 5 years, and I just quit it because I was like, yep, I'm going to build a business that I'm passionate about, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, quit my job. I had some savings, and I was like, oh yeah, I can build my business with what savings I have, and that would have been okay. But what happened at the time was my mum ended up getting, she had 2 strokes shortly after I quit my job.
Yeah.
And so I spent the next, I don't even know, like 7 months looking after my mum. She's really good now, by the way. She's totally recovered, but there was a period there where like we thought we were going to lose her. Like she was in and out of hospital, had to call an ambulance a few times. So about 7 months I was looking after her, had to put my business aside, spent all of my savings, got into credit card debt. And the thing as well, during that period when I had to put my business aside and fell into debt, if it wasn't for this community, because this community, like during this period, I was constantly getting messages a couple of times a week from people asking like if everything was okay, like how's my mum going, offering, to talk to me on the phone if I wanted to chat. So because I had that ongoing support from this community, when mum was, back on track and she was okay, I went back to the business. Because I was constantly reminded and constantly supported. So I went back to the business. But when I went back to my business, I was in debt.
Yeah.
But the great news is because this online education had taught me how to build a social media gathering. That's why I have 3,000 followers on Instagram, because I learnt these skills.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like social media and all this other kind of online marketing stuff that I am now monetizing as a full-time income. I've got 2 clients, and yeah, so now I'm way out of debt. Like I've paid off my credit card, like that's gone, and I'm earning a full-time income that is giving me way more freedom in my life. So yeah, I quit my job straight away, and here I am.
Yeah, I feel like I've had thoughts about like not like I back in June I was told that my contract was not being renewed to be a teacher at the school I was at, and there are moments where I said, within the summer could I turn this so like I get paychecks all up until September from my previous employer. I asked myself, could I build YouTube enough that I could earn enough money to support what I need, like pay off college loans, pay for the house that me and my wife bought. Like, can I do all those things? And I'm not comfortable enough now. I think the background that you have in sales, that you've been a top performer in sales, that probably makes a huge difference. Because I mean, running a business, like if you can be the salesman and not do any of the other things, at least you can get some revenue with those skills. But I do not trust my own. I mean, I'm sure it would be different if I just burned the boats and said, you know what, I'm not going back to teaching. I'm not going to start applying for jobs. I'm just going to make this work. But I've been sort of unwilling to. I'm weaning myself. I'd like to think I'm weaning myself off. I would hope in the next couple of years I'll have enough income coming in through social media and personal branding to be able to do this full time. Because I've realized what I love doing is having interviews like this, talking with like-minded people, and I feel like spreading the message that that the world needs to understand about growth mindset, and that we are much more limitless, and there's a lot of social constructs that we abide by that we don't have to. And I feel like because of all the books I read, all the podcasts I listen to, all the people like you that I talk with, and there's a lot of landmark people that I am in contact with, like sometimes they forget that the world is suffering out there. And it's because I'm a teacher that I see all that suffering firsthand, because people say I can't do it, and people say, I'm mad for X, Y, and Z, and they don't have the tools from the forum, etc. So
yeah,
I'm hoping in the next couple of years I'll be able to do something similar in a more comfortable fashion, as I have college loans are my main thing. I have like over $20,000 worth of them.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uni.
Sorry?
Uni.
Yeah, I was uni, that's right. I was actually going to say, you said burn the boats before. Were you quoting Tony Robbins?
I don't remember where I heard that first, but yeah, it probably came from him or Jim Rohn or something. But
Yeah.
for those that don't know what burning the boats is, do you want to explain it or do you want me to?
There's the story.
Yeah.
I know the story, but I don't think I'd be able to give specific
I don't
details.
remember the specific details either, but there was, I want to say it was like in Roman times, maybe like before 1000 BC.
Yeah.
There was a war general, and they went to attack an island, and they came in on boats. And what the head, the general or whatever you want to call them of the army, they burned all the boats that they came in on, so that the soldiers had a choice of either winning the battle or dying, because there was no retreat. So the idea of leaving your job and giving yourself no supplementary income, for you like you had savings, and you know a lot of us have credit cards that we can fall back on, which we might fall into debt, but like it's manageable that way. But you know, if you choose to leave your job, you might as well be burning the boats in today's atmosphere. That's the peril there.
The most important thing though about that story is so they burnt the boats and then they won because they did not have any other choice but to win the battle, because they either win or they die.
Right.
It's pretty much. I know someone who really, really did burn his boats when he did start on this entrepreneurial journey. In fact, obviously there's lots of people that have done it, but someone who's quite close to me, he burnt all his boats. He quit his job immediately, just like I did. And he was almost, and he had I think he took out a loan to build out his business. And he was right at the end of his loan and he wasn't seeing results with his business yet. And it was at a point where he's all like, oh no, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to have to get a job? Like, you know, whatever his concerns were at the time. And because he was in a moment of he's burnt all his boats, he has no other choice but to succeed. I think it was in that final month that his business really started to move along. And he's now, I mean, I don't like to talk about monetary figures because I honestly don't think true fulfillment comes from how much you earn. I really do feel it comes from the heart and helping people, that kind of stuff. But on a monetary level, he's now at a point where his business is generating more than $50,000 a month.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and he's only working like 3 hours a day, on average 3 hours a day, and traveling the world. And he's come from 70 hours a week in his corporate career.
Wow.
So that's the power of burning the boats, like having no other option but to succeed.
What does he sell?
He does something very similar to what I do. So he learned everything he knows from SFM. He's used the education to build a number of businesses. Yeah. I think the area that he's focusing on right now is personal development. He does a lot of coaching and you know, breaking down those limiting beliefs, pushing people out of their comfort zones, overcoming fears, like all that kind of stuff. So that's the niche that he's sort of in at the moment.
Yeah, I've been thinking that if I were to burn the boats, if I were to leave teaching like teenagers, I wanted to be more mobile. I think my main niche would be coaching people that want to write books. So like Clifford, because I'm not burning the boats. Like I want to work with you for free. Like there's a bunch of people that I've talked to before that I want to work with for free to get better at it. But one of the things, so a really kind of funny thing is when I was writing my book in 2016, I hired one of my friends from Landmark who's just a good listener. I said, hey, can I just call you once a week and like word vomit on you, like all of my like complaints about stuff? Because I was writing a personal development book. So like I couldn't write it without like I had to, I had to be living it to be able to write about it. Like you can't sleep in and then talk about like waking up early to catch the worm. So
yeah, absolutely.
I would call her once a week and I would literally just like talk about the problems that were going on in my life. And she's like, all right, got anything else for me? Like she wouldn't try to solve my problems. She would just kind of validate that I said things, and she would listen. And by the end, I'd be like, all right, I can write now. Okay. And like that was coaching. She just showed up and listened. So
Yeah.
that so far I've worked with one other person. That's written a poetry book, and I did a TED talk alongside her, and
You did a TED talk.
Yeah, I did a TEDx talk, not a TED talk.
Wow, that's awesome. I would love to find the video.
Which is ironically is not that hard to do. If you find a TEDx conference in your area, maybe I think they probably announce them maybe a year in advance or maybe 6 months at least. Find one in your area, and then find out who the person is. Figure out what you want to talk about, and then just pitch them. Like I literally just, it was one day I was frustrated because I was working as a teacher and at a middle school, and I was talking about goal setting and like 90-day targets with my students, and we took 45 minutes or so, and it was almost like the whole class. And someone complained to me later, like, hey, like, how much math did you teach today? And I was like, oh, we didn't get to a whole lot. We were doing a goal setting thing. I was like, and they're like, well, goal setting is not really the curriculum. Like you're a math teacher. Like,
oh wow,
it's math. And I was so frustrated with that. I was like, you got to be kidding me. No one's teaching any of these people how to set goals or consider habits around their goals.
More limitations for society.
Right. So I was like, well, shit. Whoa, I just swore. I never swear on this channel. I was so frustrated that I said, I got to do this somewhere. I got to talk about goals or something somewhere. So I went online and I thought to myself, oh, maybe I could be a TED speaker. Like that was on my bucket list. So I looked around for conferences, found it, contacted the organizer, said, hey, I just said, I'm a speaker. Could I come speak at your TED conference? And they're like, what do you want to talk about? I said, well, goal setting and achieving and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, like what's your qualification? Like, what have you done? I said, well, I wrote a book last year and I've been running a YouTube channel for about 6 months or so. And so they checked it out and they're like, yeah, sure, would love to have you. And then the funny other thing about the TED Talk was I was the oldest speaker at age 26.
Wow. Wow, that's so inspiring. I had no idea that you could do that. I really appreciate you telling me. I will look into that.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff that I'd want to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the hard part was sort of writing it. I have a sweet hack. So is doing a TED Talk on your bucket list?
It wasn't. No, it is.
One of the things, I have a sweet hack for if you need to memorize it. If you look up the TED Talk Memory Palace, or just contact me when you get your gig being a TED speaker, and I'll tell you how to memorize your 14-minute speech.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
It's a good hack. Looks like there's a question. Oh. So one of the questions is, what is her job? My dad is a reseller on eBay. You can find his YouTube at Bin Flipping Hard Goods. So the question that's out there for you is, what is your job? So I'm going to answer part of it for you first, is that she doesn't necessarily have a job. And one of my favorite things, so I was in a multi-level marketing company for a little bit, Vima. And then I decided I didn't really like selling something that I wasn't 100% passionate about. But
yeah,
we always talked about a JOB is journey of a broke person.
Oh, wow. Accurate.
She doesn't have a JOB, but she has I'll let you answer.
Freedom lifestyle. A freedom fulfilling lifestyle, doing what I love. The way that
you do a lot of coaching as well?
Coaching?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that like I'm a coach, but I definitely guide people into the same education that's helped me change my life. I'm in a community of many, many mentors who've achieved the kind of results that I want to achieve in my own business. So I'd be happy to introduce people to the same mentors that have, completely changed my life and, really changed my belief of what is possible. So.
So I'm going to rephrase your question, and I feel like you've kind of described it, but I'm not sure I can put my finger on it. Is what service does your business provide?
Okay, so I'll start by explaining that the way that I've built my online business, and I'll explain what my business is.
Yeah.
But the way that I've built it is I've joined an online educational platform. It has a library of over 6,000 courses that will teach you absolutely anything that you want to know about building, marketing, and scaling an online business. Now, you can use this education for a number of different avenues that you can go down. Firstly, you can use a business to build. You can use the education to build a business around anything you're passionate about. So if you're passionate about photography, this education can teach you how to, build a website, how to build an online presence, how to automate your business so it's running in the background. You don't have to physically be working on it. It's still generating an income. So you can use it to build a business you're passionate about. Or you can, use it to improve an existing business by putting all these processes in place. You can also, if you don't have your own products or your own passions that you want to pursue, or services or anything, if you don't have any of those, you don't need any existing business. You can actually use the education to market other products and services, and you can get a commission for doing that. So it teaches you how to find these products and services, so you can get a commission, and you can basically, sell the products and services in any niche that you're passionate about. So if you're really passionate about fitness, you can, sell the products of other people's fitness products, whatever, and get a commission. Now, the path that I've taken is, and I did not plan at all to take this path. I just literally went through the journey, learned a bunch of stuff, and put it into practice, and realized that I was really passionate about social media and branding and that kind of thing. And so what I'm doing now is I've got one client in particular that I'm helping him with the branding of his company, coming up with like the branding, the messaging, all that kind of stuff. And I'm earning a full-time income by doing that. So yeah, my personal business is using education to do brandings for other businesses and their social media presence, that kind of stuff. But the online platform can teach you to go down any avenue that you choose.
So it kind of sounds like you are a coach, but it sounds like, if you were to put a title to it, I feel like the word I would use is like a personal branding consultant.
I guess you could say that. Yeah.
And now, do you also do you ever get commissions for, like, I looked at the website, and the was it SFM?
SFM, yeah, yep.
If people register for like the higher level subscriptions, like can you get commissions off people doing that?
Yeah, so one of the options you can choose is to be an affiliate for the SFM, and I haven't really focused on that part too much, although I really should, because of how much of a profound impact it has had on my life. But if you choose to be an affiliate for the SFM and other people become members, then you do get not discounts. You get commissions. So you can get commissions as high as I don't know the exact figures, but I think the highest commission you can get for a single sale is like $12,000.
Yeah.
That's for one sale. So yeah, you can get commission for
could you sort of passively be an affiliate for that? Like, say I'm an affiliate, and then pretty much just leave a link to it in all of the social media things that you post?
you'd want to be a member because you want to undertake all of the training. I mean, as I mentioned, you have access to 6,000 courses. Like, why wouldn't you want to have all that training?
Yes.
So yeah, you'd want to get all the training, and you want to have the support of the community because that's amazing. And then, as I mentioned, you've got the 90-day video challenge as well, which is so important because today, like, you want to be good at video, which I'm obviously still working on. But yeah, you want to be good on video.
We're still getting the nerves out. We're still doing it.
Yeah, just give me another hour or something. Yeah, so like there's a 90-day video challenge which helps with your business, and there's lots of different things within the community. But once you're part of the community, then yes, you can definitely be an affiliate, and then you can definitely get pretty high commissions for it too.
So Kaylee Rebel, I hope that answers your question. Let's see, are there any new questions? Okay. What would Kathryn's advice be to somebody like me who would love to start up her own business in the future, but worried about getting clients? And that's from Gemma.
Okay, thank you, Gemma. So are you worried that you're not going to be able to get enough clients?
I'm going to try speaking for her, and I'm sure she'll add something else to the chat as well in a minute. But I would bet, so one of the challenges I know that Gemma probably has, and I feel like even I would have, is selling yourself, really. Like if you wanted to be a consultant or a coach of some kind, like maybe someone says, hey, I want to start a daily YouTube channel. Zach, will you be my coach, and I'll pay you, $30 an hour per coaching session or something. Like those don't just fall in your lap. Like you gotta go kind of get business. I guess it sounds like one of the concerns she has is that she would have to pitch herself to other people to get business coming in. And what would be so Gemma, let me know in the chat if that is about accurate. So I guess the question is, what's the advice you would give to her if that's her main concern, is pitching herself to people and selling herself?
I think a big part of getting clients is relationship building. So you really need to know how to, develop that relationship with your niche or with your target market. And you do that by providing value as much as possible. I mean, a lot of the blogs, I've written 3 blogs so far, and they've all been specifically written with the purpose of genuinely providing value, genuinely helping people with problems that I had when I was first getting started. So none of my blogs have a pitch, although you do want to have some kind of call to action to inspire engagement. And if you provide enough value, and people begin to know, like, and trust you, they're more likely to buy from you because they trust that what you're offering them is genuinely, you've got their best interests in mind. So yeah, relationship building is a really, really big part of, getting clients, and it's more of a long-term goal too. Like you're not always going to get people just by saying, hey, this is what I sell, this is what it can do, give me your credit card. So you need to build on that long-term relationship, and the way that you can do that, I don't know if you're doing this already, Gemma, is by I don't know if you have it, but an online an email list. Like if you have a website, you've got a part where they can subscribe to your email list, and you'll often find this online when you're subscribing to somebody's email list. In order for people to get you to put their email address in, they're offering something of value to you. So you can say, put your email address in to get my free ebook about how to XYZ, something that's of value. They put in their email address, and then you've got their email address now. You emailing them, frequently, regularly, and maintain that friendship building, relationship building on it, providing value where you can. And yeah, they'll be more likely to purchase from you. So
I'm gonna elaborate a little bit on what you said and her question. So She
Okay.
also threw in there, she said, yeah, I struggle with my communication skills. And I think one of the things that I've found, so as I said before, is that if I were to burn the boats right now and like were to go full entrepreneur, I would try being an author's coach, because one of the things that I think I'm pretty good at is causing someone else, inspiring and empowering someone else to get writing done when they don't want to. So I think part of having your own business is you got to, one, figure out what you're passionate about. So Gemma, for you, I know you're really passionate about, one, kind of mastering yourself, stepping outside your comfort zone, and growing yourself. Two is I know that you are passionate about making it easier for other people that are going through the struggles that you've gone through. So being a high functioning autistic person in the 21st century, I think you said you're a little over 30. So, you know, maybe a 18 or a 20 something year old that is struggling to build a social media following, and part of their thing is about autism, you could bring value to that. You know, think about all the things that you've done so far. You can help bring value to people that want to do what you've done. So I know that I could help people do a daily YouTube channel. I know I could help people write books. I don't trust myself in, like, I have what, 600 followers on Instagram. So I would not, I would not dub myself someone that could help build an Instagram following. There's a lot of things that I know that I wouldn't be able to do, but I think once you've accomplished something yourself, you can look at having a business for how to help other people accomplish that same thing, especially if you have a niche. So for me, like, my whole thing was like knocking, like, if you just want to write a book and you don't want to go through the hassle of, like, you know, having a really great publisher and being on the New York Times bestseller list, but you just want to write a book to write a book, and you want to be able to hold it in your hands and say, like, hey, this is mine. I wrote this. My name's on the spine. Like, I did this. If you want to be able to do that, I can help you out. If you want to be a New York Times bestseller, I probably can't help you. Amazon bestseller, probably can't help you. So you got to figure out what it is, one, that you're passionate about, which you had said, and two, that you have some experience with that you'll enjoy doing. And I think if you can find something that you really enjoy, that you are somewhat of an expert at, then I think that the communicating with other people and finding business will not be nearly as hard.
I was
Anything
gonna,
to add to
sorry.
that?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention something that there's every single person on this earth has something valuable to share. We all have our strengths, and the thing is, because they're our strengths, we don't realize that they are our strengths. We don't realize that's something that we can share with the world that's going to provide value. And I think a big part of, I mean, especially the journey that I've been on, is actually discovering what value there is for me to share, and like how I can help people. So yeah, like, I totally agree with everything that you said. And Gemma, like, yeah, I'm absolutely confident that there are so many things that you're really in tune with, that don't come as second nature to other people. And yeah, just discover what those are and share it. And yeah, and just that authenticity as well of sharing those strengths within you is also what's going to draw people in. Because, you know, you mentioned that you're feeling anxious because you feel like you struggle with communication skills. Be authentic about that, because there's so much power in being authentic with your so-called weaknesses.
Yeah.
So if you just straight out, and then it's also more relatable. So people who do struggle with their communication skills, whatever, you know, they can relate to you. And also, just you showing your weakness is also going to just show that you're human, just like them. So yeah, so much power in authenticity.
And to comment on Alice Eaton saying, I'm a writer of short stories, but unsure if I could get them published. So Alice, the hack around that I'll share with you wrote these short stories for my son. The hack around that is you don't need a publisher. So this is my book. This is the one that I wrote. No one picked it up. I wrote out a Word document. I saved it as a PDF. The outside cover, my wife helped design. That's a PDF. And I put it up onto createspace.com, which helps you publish it, but it's self-published. So if you want to have it published, you can do that. If you want to get it picked up and marketed for you and all that stuff, then you would have to go through some hoops that I was unwilling to go through. I just wanted to have a book that I could say, like, well, my philosophies, here, have this. So Alice, that's what I would ask you is, are you interested in having a book to have a book? Like, you want to knock it off your bucket list? You want to have it at home and you can give it to your friends and family? Or like, are you really interested in like making it big sort of as a writer? Gemma is amazing.
And also, Gemma, if there's any possible doubt in your mind that they're not good enough to be published, I'd say let the market decide that.
Yeah.
Because again, what you think.
That was Alice. That was a different person. But that's a good point. She said.
Oh, it's Alice. Sorry, Alice.
But yeah, letting the market decide that, and I think.
Yeah.
That's a great thing that I wish I would say more often to people that say, like, I can't do YouTube videos, no one would watch. And then you can just say, yeah, let the market decide if they're going to watch or not. And
yeah.
we can find people to help you out along the way. I mean, part of building a YouTube channel is like you said, building relationships with other people, commenting on other channels, like kind of showing up regularly to places. Like, Gemma, you've been in, like, I don't know, out of the last, let's say 90 days, you've probably been in at least a third of these videos. Like, you've shown up for all of them, and that's how you build relationships. Oh, hey, Alex, I didn't see you there. My bad. Let's see. I will, Gemma, and I did see your letter. I will be reading that on the other channel soon. Gemma, she's helped me in so many ways through her videos. Also, Aspie, I'm 15. By the way, for those of you just coming on, feel free to keep putting questions into the chat. I'm trying to watch them to ask Kathryn. Kathryn, are you confident enough? Like, would you be ready to drop a poem on us?
The poem that I wrote with like literally 10 minutes notice.
Yeah, you ready?
It wasn't 10 minutes, it was an hour. But yeah, I'm ready. You put me on the spot and I'm actually really grateful for it because it really pushed me out of my comfort zone, and that's where we grow out of. So, all right, so I'll read it. I worked in insurance day in, day out. I had feelings of anxiety, pressure, and doubt. I longed for a new calling to give my life meaning, something true to me, something I believed in. I wanted to help people find the power within, but I had no idea how, what, or where to begin. The thought of never finding it entrenched me with fear. But when the student was ready, the teacher appeared. I discovered my mentors who came out of the blue. They changed my perspective, gave me a new point of view. They helped me become the leader I knew I could be, so I can empower others to live fully and set themselves free.
That was awesome. What do you mean you got put on the spot? Like, you've rocked that. That was like short, concise. It rhymed. It was perfect. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
I would invite you to join. So back about 3 weeks ago now, Gemma came on. I was doing a book giveaway. And at the end, she asked me, like, Zach, you're going to challenge me to do something? I was like, do you want me to challenge you to do something? I was like, all right, I'll challenge you. I want you to do a poem on YouTube every day for the next 21 days till it's a habit. And
Whoa.
and then so she's done that, and it's been 21 days, and I there were 2 days where I had to skip because, well, because I just broke my word. But I'm on day 20, and part of the reason I really wanted to do it was because I wanted to start making music videos again. I made 2 music videos. I don't know if you've heard the song Gucci Gang. It's this really horrible, trashy song.
No.
And I was making fun of my students for listening to it, and they're like, I was like, I can make a better song than that. And they're like, no, you can't. I was like, yeah, I can. And then I did. And then I made another one about, I have in the back of my classroom, I have a bulletin board where every time someone is like being mean or being like entitled or like complaining, I make them write on a sticky note what they're thankful for, and they have to go put it on the back wall. So I made a rap video about that.
Wow, that's awesome. It's such a shame that you're leaving teaching. Like, you sound like you're such an inspiring teacher.
Well, I figure on YouTube, I kind of am still a teacher, just to a much wider
audience. Absolutely, you're so right.
But yeah, so I've been wanting to. I said this summer I was going to do music videos. So the 21-day poetry challenge is like, sometimes I now think in rhyme scheme, like I feel like once or twice a day I'll have some kind of thought, and then the next thought will rhyme with the next one. I'm like, oh, I gotta start writing. Like, I'm in the mood. So it hits me multiple times a day now. So
oh, that's cool.
The one that I did about 7 hours ago at midnight was, I think that's going to be the rough draft to my next music video, which I'm very excited about, because most of the poems I've been doing have been like, I don't know, like a minute, but this one was like 4 minutes of like rhyming, which I'm pumped about.
Wow, that's awesome. That's so cool.
You want to hear it?
Yeah, show me.
All right. I don't, maybe it wasn't actually 4 minutes, but it's about 3 or 4 times the size of my average ones. All right.
Yeah.
So have you, prerequisite, have you read or heard of The Monk That Sold His Ferrari?
No.
It's sort of, they call it a fable, but it's pretty much a lawyer has a near life crisis, having a heart attack on the stand, like in a case, and his doctor says, you got to either give up the practice or give up your life. So he gives up his lawyer practice. He's like the top of his game. He's rich and etc. He's got a Ferrari. He quits being a lawyer and a partner, goes to India, some Eastern country, goes and spends some time for a couple of years with monks, becomes a monk himself, comes back, and the whole book is a conversation between him and his old best friend at the law practice, talking about all the things that he's learned in the past couple of years. And
wow,
that was one of the
goosebumps.
Say it again.
I'm getting goosebumps from that story.
Yeah, it's really good one. So like, these were all my notes from like, I love my audiobooks. That's notes from like, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes worth of content from the book. It's 2.5 hours, but it's really good. So the poem is sort of, it starts out talking a little bit about that. There's like this little short story about a garden and a sumo wrestler and roses and stuff, and a lighthouse. And it's talking about the garden is your mind, the lighthouse is your goals, so that you can see like past stuff, and you gotta upkeep the garden. And I forget what the symbolism of the roses were, but the idea of like stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's all about teaching growth mindset for the most part, and that our brains are limitless. Pretty much everything we're talking about here. All right, here we go.
Oh, yeah, that sounds great.
The garden, it's not a reality, just metaphorically your mind, where you grind and create time. The place you prune and groom the future you look ahead to. It's a place that we often forget to come to nurture that garden rose. It said the purpose of life is a life of purpose. So what we cling on to, like those roses, unfroze us. No more stuff lust, just brain pumps to jump to clean us, clear the bar where we help them, help others, focus. These talents chose us, these flowers keep us fragrantly focused. Need coffee? No more cups. I'm flush, walking through this garden, recognizing no bars, and I want to keep building this lighthouse cement hard. I no longer forget. I want to grow my brain, less my pain, and keep coming on and on again. Just refrain. Once it's been explained, then learn and grow and be the change. Change the game, accept who I am and how I want to build this fam, bringing these clans from other lands to teach and preach the youth from zombie lambs to promised lands. Just progress, man. Henry was my favorite quote to be my basis. Top of my fave list of words I can start my day with, just pay grins. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Drop the mic, drop the thoughts that break your fraught. Recognize it's all in your talk. If it's in your talk, it's in your walk. But first, it was a thought.
Whoa.
Lual ganglia is one of the least understood parts of you. It's the habit organ, so you don't need to forget. The only issue is the use of this we can get trapped in. It happens in 21 days, taking actions conscious or in a haze. It creates synapses like high-speed freeways. Once in 3 weeks, it can be hard to change beats, hard to fix brain leaks, hard to make tweaks, especially when it brings us down to those thought pattern peaks, like that extra sugar plump on your cheeks. If thoughts are the garden, the ganglia can be a gang to you. It can be an auto sprinklers. It can be the woodchucks eating your forsythias. Did you check that? Didn't you? Go figure. We don't talk about the power of habit as required reading in high school. We're just supposed to teach it by actions like putting desks in tight rows. Duhigg brought the truth peg. I consumed the bacon down to the ham significant that we can get this branch of biology. It seems to me that classes in high school should be preparing me for the world, whether it's a job pool, a step stool, or business that sets us free by having us create what makes us happy. Now you've got new summer reading. Lastly, I hit that nasty party that doesn't want the best for you, or Burgundy telling us to keep it classy. Fact be that we partake in a class of actions that close our synapses and teach us that math ain't our class. Nah, fam, you talk harsher than your best friends do. You would drop them like an organized classroom dropping pencils. I bet you the door closed on yourself and get no help while you got cold toes thinking you can't get unfroze. Like hell, you want A's, you want to learn, but you can't get past your own concern. You can't get past the pest on your shoulder. When you talk, when you turn your head, it talks ish. You ain't got this, you impoverished. No mental cash to even deposit on this word problem. Shoot it, the break rules, you hadn't dropped the misfit from the side of your neck. No more talking back. This is your house, your shoulder, your turn. You got composure. Who cares if you have to ask your neighbor for more brown sugar? They'd love to help. Your teachers want to put more ingredients on your shelf. In your mind, lose the time, look back and be like, that paper mine? Dropping dimes to the demon doing crime? It's false. You're fine. Ding your talents were all along the whole time. Bring me more problems. Henry said it's up to you to not forget it. That little talker has a fetish for when you start stressing. Time to keep flexing those new muscles you resurrect and didn't know you had complexion. Not time yet for resting. Just bring on that next lesson.
Wow. Wow, dude. Wow.
It took me like an hour and a half.
Only an hour and a half? That's insane.
Yeah, most of them take me about 20 minutes, but this one took a bit longer. But I was like, at some point I was like, all right, I need a middle part and then I need an end part. Thank you.
Have you done spoken word before?
I mean, one of the thank wall rap sort of was spoken word, and I did like a really simple beatbox over it. Just what was it? That was just in the background of it. So it kind of was spoken word.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to go watch your music videos.
Yeah, I'd like to think they're entertaining. I come off as super goofy and had moments where I was like, all right, I gotta decide, am I really gonna make this public? It's a possibility some of my students will never respect me again. So it was a tough trade-off.
Good
Um,
on you. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Um, I've been thinking about trying to find more people to collaborate with. So I feel like with the skills you just showed there, you could definitely be someone where I could see you chiming in for a verse on some YouTube channel. But the cool thing is, since you do so much traveling, you could have like a sick background, and maybe you could get some drone shots that wouldn't be capable of getting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's awesome. I feel honored. Someone like you who can rhyme so amazingly that you'd even say that.
Hey, that's 21 days in the making. Like I feel like I've just been getting better and better every day because I've been forcing myself to do this. Um,
Yeah.
Haley asked, how do you make a music video? Um, I put together a video back in like January. The main ideas of making a music video is start with the song. Once you have the song, try to figure out about how much you need to memorize of it. So if you look at most music videos, probably like 40% of the time, the person's actually speaking into the camera. So you don't have to memorize the whole thing necessarily. Figure out like what clips you're going to want, then create sort of like if you can, sort of like a storyboard for what you want to do, like any kind of film. So think about wherever you are in the song, what part of it you want to be doing what. So like for that right there, I can picture myself trying to have like some sort of animated thing talking smack in my ear. I feel like part of that I would be in a classroom, and part of that I haven't figured that out, but you want to figure out the scenes. For my Gucci Gang video, I did 3 different places. It was a library, a playground, and on top of my car. And then you just go shoot the videos, like just get the clips that you want and then cut them all up, put them together. I use iMovie, and it's pretty. I felt like iMovie was fairly intuitive to figure out. Gemma says that she would love to collaborate with you. So
Thanks, Gemma. Get in touch.
Gemma, Kathryn's email is in the description if you want to use it. Gemma is saying the little Zach method. So I was talking with Gemma the other day, and I was telling her one of the ways you can sort of train yourself to have better thoughts is like almost personifying two little things on your shoulder. One will take over the negative thoughts, and then you can start having a conversation with yourself with a positive and a negative. Because all the time when we hear the negative thoughts, we think that is us. We think we have our thoughts. So I just pretend like I'm just chilling on your shoulder, like a little mini Zach is like chirping at you from one ear, telling the demon Gemma on your other shoulder to F off.
What I tell myself is any thoughts that I have that don't serve me, that's not going to put me closer to my goal and where I want to be in life, I don't put any attention to it. I don't entertain it, because you're right. It's not me. It's separate to me. It's I don't know.
You ignore it. I feel like I'm always succumbing to it at some point in time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like like I really do genuinely feel that those voices, that they are separate to us. They like, I don't identify with those thoughts, and they happen. Like I don't like, you've I don't know if this is really kind of the spiritual perspective, but ego.
Yeah.
Yeah, ego. It's just ego, which I feel is like a separate entity, which is there to basically cause chaos and compromise relationships, and it's not there for our greater good. It's there to, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like the landmark language for it was the already always listening. So we both took this course, Landmark Forum, for those watching. Cliff knows about this. And at some point in the course, they say there's this thing called an already always listening. It's like there's just an ongoing conversation in our head that we're sometimes not even aware of. and they said to us, all right, now I want you to be silent. And then everyone's silent, and they're like, do you hear that voice in your head talking? And everyone's like, yeah, I hear it. Or some people are like, what voice? And then the forum leader says, it's the one that just said, what voice? That's the voice. So I think I feel like that's where I learned that we are not our thoughts. We are sort of a separate entity. And I think that takes a lot of practice to recognize that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Kaylee, you say I get bad thoughts a lot of times and it really sucks. I would say I think we all get bad thoughts at times, and the question is whether we choose to indulge in them or not. I know that's one of the books, one of the Monk That Sold His Ferrari talks about that a lot. Kathryn, what would you say to Kaylee?
Yeah, like I think it's completely normal to have negative thoughts. I mean, it comes up for everyone. We're all human. But the way I see it is, just like what's been explained that our thoughts are not us. They're separate to us. And it's just ongoing. I would recommend practicing meditation, quieting the mind. And just really sort of getting used to detaching yourself from those thoughts, not identifying with them, not entertaining those thoughts. And like I said, the way that I see it is any thought that I have that does not serve me, that does not empower me, that does not help my growth, I don't acknowledge it. I don't entertain it at all. And I choose instead to replace those thoughts with positive thoughts that are going to empower me. And a really powerful technique that I've also discovered recently, surprisingly recently, is affirmations. Are you going to say affirmations? Yeah, affirmations. Like, affirmations are so powerful. Like, if you're having frequent negative thoughts, you have the power to reprogram your mind. You have the power. You're so powerful. People don't realize this. And the way that you reprogram your mind is by repeating affirmations every day in front of the mirror. And when you say these affirmations, you really, really feel into what you're saying. And these affirmations are sentences that you speak in the first person, empowering sentences. So I don't know what your negative thoughts are, but say, for example, they are, I'm not good enough. Then in your affirmations, you're definitely going to say something like, I am good enough, or I am smart enough. I can achieve everything I want in life. So if you say these affirmations every single day and feel into them, you'll reprogram your mind to the point that you genuinely believe these things to be true. And not only do you start, not only do you start to believe them to be true, you start putting out those behaviors as well. You start aligning your behaviors with those beliefs. So if you go to my YouTube channel, I actually shot a video specifically about this.
Yeah, that's why I said it, because I had the feeling you're going to say that, because I watched that one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the video is called, it's in my, I
think it's one of the first ones that comes up.
Is it? Okay. Well, it's called Affirmations That Will Change Your Life. And I mentioned like the most amazing affirmations. And I highly recommend that you do them every day. And it will certainly lessen those thought patterns, those negative thought patterns that you're having, because you won't identify with them. You'll identify with the more empowering ones.
Yeah. That's great advice. I know that's like, meditation is a good one. I think a lot of people struggle with meditation because they think the voices in their head are supposed to go away, but it's more like when you start focusing on something else, like your breathing, or like one of the things it talks about in Monk That Sold His Ferrari is if you put a rose or some kind of flower in front of you and you're just doing your best to observe it and take it all in and be present with it, that's sort of a way to shut the voices up, because you just don't notice them because you're focusing on something else and you're being present. And I think affirmations, it's another technique for it, and it's training it reminds me of one of the years that I was teaching. This girl would come in every day and say, Mr. Watson, I'm dying. And I was like, no, you're living. Like, you're here. You made it. You survived the night. And I think that was that was sort of like an affirmation that I tried training her to say. And I think by the end of the year, she said it at least once, that she came to like, Watson, I'm alive. So
Wow, that's awesome. Reprogramming these kids' minds. Well done.
yeah, I don't know if she still does it, but I don't know if she was just trying to make me feel like I can be proud, even if it didn't make a difference. But yeah, so I think if we can force ourselves to say words that we might not even believe yet, like Kaylee, if you could share with us one or two of the things that pop into your head.
Whilst we're waiting for Kaylee to answer that question, can I just say something? I recently read a book called The Miracle Morning, and this is actually what really started me on this like affirmations thing.
Yeah.
He was this guy that read the book, he was in a car accident. I don't know if anyone's read this book, but he was in a car accident which caused really, really bad memory loss, to the point that he'd be spending time with people for hours and hours. They'd leave the room, return to the room, and he'd greet them like he hasn't seen them in years. So after this car accident, he had the belief that he had really bad memory, and therefore he had really bad memory because it's like a self-fulfilling vicious cycle prophecy kind of thing.
Right.
But when he discovered affirmations, he was a bit skeptical, and he started practicing the affirmation, I have a fantastic memory. And he was doing that every day. And for a while there, when he was saying it, he didn't really believe what he was saying, because he did really believe that he didn't have a good memory. But over time, what he did find was saying these affirmations every day was reprogramming his mind, to the point that when he was saying it, he started to really start believing it. And not only that, he has a perfect memory now. Like, something that he thought he was never going to have, just from a simple change of belief, which he was able to achieve through affirmations, he now has an amazing memory, which really shows how powerful we truly are. Like, we can really achieve anything we want, and it starts from our beliefs, what we believe is possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the rhymes I tried putting into the thing. It was where was it? It was like, if you talk the talk, then you walk the walk, but first it starts with a thought.
Yes, yeah, you did say that, and I love that one.
So you're saying like, I suck and I'm dumb and weird. But Kaylee, I tell everyone at the end of every episode to stay weird. So the weird is like the part of you that's the most authentic, the one that we don't want to show people. So embrace the weird. And I would say that when you say when you say you suck and when you say you're dumb, what would be an empowering statement that you could replace that with? What would be an affirmative verbal cue that could sort of retrain your brain and start trying to bend the branch back to the way that is empowering for you?
Can I add something to that, actually? Because when it also comes to having these negative thoughts, that ego that I was mentioning, the entity that is separate from us, that wants us to have these thoughts, that ego wants us to believe these thoughts. So you need to make a conscious decision that you want to break through these thought patterns. So you need to I guess be aware of the part of you that is being a bit stubborn and actually wants to think that way, because it allows you to kind of fall into the victim kind of mentality and that kind of thing. Because there's a bit of a pleasure in being a victim, right? And thinking these thoughts, like, yeah, you get that guilty pleasure from being a victim, but it doesn't serve you. It's not empowering you. It's not moving you closer to your goals. It's pushing you further away from living the best life that you want to live. So you need to make the conscious decision that you want to change that thought pattern. You want to think that you are smart, that you are awesome, that you're great, that you can do anything you want. So yeah, firstly, make that conscious decision that you want that better life for yourself, those better thought patterns, and then you can start practicing the affirmations every day with that in mind, that you consciously want to change it.
By the way, I'm going to do a quick pause for a second. So anyone that's in the chat right now, I have a request, is that you go over to her channel right now. Wi-Fi Lifestylers, and subscribe. If you're enjoying this, go subscribe to her channel. She the past like 2 videos, I think, she talked about affirmations and how her brother was able to manifest a soulmate into his life, and talking about affirmations as well. And on top of that, I'll also say, if you're liking this so far, if we've answered your questions, give the video a like. If you're not feeling it and I haven't answered any questions, and you're like, why am I still on here? Just drop it a dislike or ask a question that will help bring value to you. Because I think in the end of the day, both of us want to see that people are empowered. We want to see that people are able to sort of erase some of those thoughts from our mind, that we suck and we're dumb, and that we're not worth the money that we want to get paid, and that we're worthless, and we can't leave our job, and we can't be entrepreneurs. We want to see it. We want to see you all drop those conclusions that your ego has made up about you.
Yeah, those false beliefs.
Thank you, Gemma. Remember, keep asking questions in there. I still got some of my own that I was going to ask, but I'm going to keep watching the chat. My next one for you, and this is one of my favorite Tim Ferriss questions, is: do you have a favorite failure in your life that you're maybe glad happened to you, and or that you learned a lot from? And like, if you were to do it over again, you would still take the failure.
Oh man, that's a really good question. I've had lots of failures, and when I say failures, I totally mean opportunities for growth, because that's absolutely what they were.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade in any of my failures for the world, because of things that have come from them. Oh God.
I'll give you a minute to think about it, and I'll share a little kind of my response to that.
Please do. Thank you.
One of the things that, so for some people this might not occur as a failure. I feel like there haven't been a ton of things that I've failed at. I think one thing that I wish I'd reflected on more was I lost an election that I thought I had wrapped up for student council president senior year. But the failures that I'm glad I did in college were all the rejections I got from all the females that I was interested in college, because what I learned was to be respectful but be persistent. I think in college in high school I didn't date at all. Like, it was senior year, like I finally got the courage to ask out a freshman. Like, it was weak. And when I got to college, I had a new confidence, because my environment, my high school, was no longer there to judge me the way they had been, and people looked at me differently in college than they did in high school. So, I mean, I'm 6'5", and females seem to like tall people. So all of a sudden I had this confidence, and so I started just, asking girls out, asking them to hang out. And I don't know how many times I was rejected in college, probably a couple hundred, but by being rejected that many times, I developed really tough skin. And I think for anyone trying to start a business, anyone, I'm sure you know all about it, being a salesperson, is if you can have tough skin, then there's a lot that you can accomplish in life. That there's a lot of things that aren't going to drag you down, that probably drag down the rest of us. So I'm really glad that I failed at getting dates with so many girls in college, because I learned persistence. I learned to have tough skin, and I mean, I'm sure I embarrassed myself a fair amount of times, but at the same time, I'm glad that I got rejected that many times.
Awesome. I love that. It's super powerful. There's a lot of people who would be rejected so many times, and they would just be completely scarred for life, and it'll be a blockage that they have within them, where they just are fearful of women or relationships or whatever else. But you've used that to empower yourself, as opposed to falling a victim to your situation. So that's awesome.
I guess one other one I'll share is senior year. There's this girl I was very attracted to. I went out on like 2 dates with her, and it was like finals week, and I like asked her to like hang out, and I knew she was busy, but I was just super excited to be around her, and I ended up making the mistake of probably sending like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 texts within the next 2 days that she never responded to.
Oh no.
And at some point, like I bumped into her, and it was like pretty awkward because like we had gone on a couple dates, and then I sent her a bunch of texts that she never answered. And so as long as you can turn it into a lesson, which is don't be annoying. Like if they don't answer the first 2 or 3, like just stop and like hope that you bump into them or something, or like talk with a friend, say, hey, any idea what their thoughts on me are? Like, don't abuse someone's number or contact information. If there's a good chance they're ignoring you for a purpose. See if you can get some intel in there.
Yeah. I love that because when things like that happen, like I'm sure that was really hurtful when that happened. Like, when she didn't reply to your text, and then when you saw her in person, that was really awkward and stuff. It would be such a waste if you went through all of that pain, all the awkwardness, and then you don't even take anything from it. It was just like a waste of time and a waste of emotional energy. Like you may as well take something empowering out of it.
Yeah.
So I love that you did that.
All right, were you able to figure out a favorite failure of your own?
Yeah. This failure is like crazy, and I'm really glad you asked that because it really forced me to really think of something, and it's something that I haven't really shared, but it's something I've thought, and it actually ties into this whole journey that I've been on and where I've actually come from. So as I mentioned, when I was working at my car insurance job, like I was really, really good at it. One of the top salespeople, I was like training people. They were using my calls in the training sessions. Like people were sitting with me, listening to my calls, winning all these awards. So I was very good at the job. And so, and then I went overseas for 8 months. And when I went back to the job, a part of me was no, not a part of me. I was fully expecting to slip back in, be really great at sales, all that kind of stuff. I thought everything was going to be exactly the same. And everyone that I was working with expected the exact same thing. Like I came in and everyone was like, oh, great, Kathryn's here. Like she's going to start making 10 sales a day. Like, yeah, really having that high expectation of me. And everybody had their eyes on me, expecting that of me. And they watched me crash and burn because I wasn't as good as I used to be. In fact, I was terrible. Like I was struggling to make sales, and people were watching it. And that whole experience of people watching me fail epically, like go from a place where I was doing really, really, really well, people were looking up to me, to just a place of just doing horribly, took such a hit to my self-confidence. And like like my self-confidence, like I get to the point where if we're talking about this self-talk in our head, those negative thoughts, I had a lot of bad negative talk where, for example, when the sales manager at the time would call in a meeting with everybody, in the past I would I'd be right up in front and center, like really bright and like happy and everything. And I'd put my hand up and answer all the questions, all that kind of stuff. But my self-confidence took such a hit that I ended up like standing right at the back of everyone and hiding behind tables so that nobody would see me or ask me questions. But there would be times when the sales manager would ask everybody a question and nobody would answer it, and I'd feel really awkward, like, oh, somebody needs to answer it. I'll answer it. And I put my hand up and answer his question, and then immediately think, oh shit, what have I done? Like that was stupid. Like why did I think that? Why did I say that? What have I, now everyone knows how stupid I am. Like those negative thoughts, and it was just a vicious cycle. And that's like that added to how depressed I was during that time. And I see that period, at the time it felt like a failure in a big way, but just around the corner of that was the biggest, most amazing thing that has ever happened in my life. Because if it wasn't for how depressed and lost I felt I wouldn't have been watching, because the way this whole journey started was I was watching positive when I was driving to work, like in order to get myself through the day, because I was so depressed. To get myself through the day, I had to listen to motivational videos on YouTube every single morning. Whereas in the past, when I was euphorically happy all the time, I didn't listen to that kind of stuff because I was fine.
Yeah.
But I wasn't fine, so I had to listen to these motivational videos. And that's how I discovered this online educational platform, through one of the YouTube ads that come before the motivational video. And yeah, so I'm extremely so grateful that I did fall into that depression, that I was failing at the job. And the other thing as well, if I went back to that job and I was doing just as well, like if I was doing amazing at the job just as I had in the past, I'd probably be there forever. I'd probably still be there today. In fact, when I was at the job before I went overseas, I believed with absolute certainty that I was going to be at that job for the rest of my life, and I probably would have been if I was good. But because my performance had dropped, I quit, and now I'm actually on the path towards my purpose and fulfillment and that kind of thing. So extremely grateful for the failures, because they redirect us on the path of where we're meant to be.
Yeah, I think sometimes they train us, either maybe that is a path that we don't want to go down, or it opens up a better door. Like one of the things I'm doing is, so when my contract was not renewed for the fall, it was a pretty traditional education, very college prep savvy. So like their goal is to have the majority of their students go to college next year or when they graduate. And I think I realized that part of the reason I probably wasn't a great fit there was because I was not of the belief that uni was the most important thing. So I think that's why I clash with them. And so I've taken that as an opportunity to, I said to Alyssa when it happened, I was like, I think I really need to consider going to a school that embraces the same values that I do. Handle how weird I am. Like a pretty out there. Like I've been I literally showed them my Gucci Gang video and put my YouTube channel on my resume. Like that's one of the first things you see.
I love that.
I didn't want to be working at a school that would look at that as like this little side thing that he does, but like, no, like this is who I am. This is what I'm after. And if it's the first thing on the resume, then I figured that would weed out the ones that couldn't handle me.
I love that. You want them to embrace and nurture that side of you.
Yeah. So Jim had a few comments. I think she's trying to ask a question. I'm going to sort of interpret for her. So she said, my favorite failure was my first ever talk I froze halfway through. She says, I remember doing my first talk. I was and couldn't do anything. She said, I'm still fearful of friendships. It's really daunting. And she says, trying to communicate with people and approaching them. Zach, my anxiety is bad right now. Can you explain on my behalf? Zach, also getting people to trust me. So what might you say to Gemma when it comes to fear of communication with people, as well as fearful of friendships and trying to get people to trust her?
Yeah, that's a good question, because that's like an ongoing journey for myself as well. I'm still kind of I'm still developing my communication skills. So actually, it's something I'm working on right now, because with my housemate, because lately he's got he's changing, but he's got very different mindset views to what I do. And in terms of like, whilst I think that we are complete limitless beings, no barriers, all this kind of stuff, his mindset is a little bit more traditional.
Practical, right?
Yeah. So I have a communication weakness where if somebody expresses these traditional mindsets and try to push them onto me, like they try to tell me that we have limitations, I tend to, well, I wouldn't say that's me now because I'm working through it, but what tends to happen was I would get really, really frustrated and just be like, no, we're not going to talk about this, and just end the conversation. Like, I don't even want to entertain the conversation because I don't want to absorb their limiting mindsets. So what I've been working through with him specifically, and he's been very supportive in that, is I've been practicing instead of immediately defaulting to not don't want to talk about it and just like avoid the conversation completely, I'm practicing being calm and explaining my point of view in a rational way, that explains how I feel. And just by learning how to, stop and communicate that in that kind of way, he's actually started to really understand where I'm coming from, and he's started to adapt those mindsets himself. So the reason I'm sort of saying all this is, you might feel like you have problems with communication, and that's, as I mentioned, something that I also try to work on. You can work on it. Like, it just takes practice. You'd have to work out what specific areas it is that you're struggling with, and find out from other people who've overcome those exact same challenges, and find out how they overcame them, and just mirror them. And fake it until you make it. That's another big thing as well, because it all comes down to the reprogramming. Where if you just like fake, this is something I got my other friend into actually. He has some really big confidence problems where when he meets people, he's like, he's worried about what they're thinking about him. Are they judging him? Like, he's just, big confidence problems. So, and he's gone overseas recently. And I've told him to fake it till he makes it. Anyone that he meets overseas, they don't know him. They don't know his past. They don't know anything about him. He can basically create any identity that he wants. So he can choose to be confident, to be, all of these positive qualities. And even if he doesn't believe that he has those qualities, all he needs to do is fake it. And he's recently told me that he started to embody those qualities that he's been faking. So yeah, you can reprogram your mind and therefore your behavior just by faking. Like, I'm not saying don't be authentic, but inauthentic, but I mean more in terms of you can overcome these communication challenges by just telling yourself that you don't have them, and by practicing it as well.
So just eye contact, we're in sarcasm. Yes, confidence, a long time issue, have had confidence issues for years. It sounds like reprogramming, using words to sort of fake it, like affirmations, like saying, I like stop, like I invite you to have this be the last day that you say you have confidence issues. Like the guy that has memory loss, like he doesn't have a memory problem. It's the only reason you have confidence issues is because you say you do, not because of reality.
You keep confirming that for yourself with your words, and therefore you keep fulfilling that idea within you.
Yeah.
So, and what Zach just said actually ties into what I said earlier, in that you need to make the conscious decision that you want to break through those habits, that you don't want to have those thoughts. And you would make that conscious decision by doing what Zach said. And today is the last day that you say that you have confidence issues. From tomorrow, you need to start saying that you were very confident. And yeah, you might not believe it to start off with, but I promise you, if you say that to yourself every single day, by like 30 days, I don't know the exact number, but in some period of time, you will definitely believe that you are confident. But it all starts from making the conscious decision that you want to make that change.
Yeah, and Gemma, just to give you a little, I'm going to point something really obvious to a lot of other people out. I don't know any unconfident people that would actually put out 21 poems out in 21 days on YouTube for hundreds of people to see. I don't think that would come from an unconfident person. So I want you to recognize that what's going on in here is not congruent with what's going out there, because what's going on out there is confidence, and what's going on in here is a figment of your own imagination.
Yeah.
I think another thing you could do, which adds on to what you saying about affirmations, is I forget where I saw or heard this. I feel like this is a landmark thing, but I'm sure it's been done in plenty of places. Gemma, my challenge for you is, and I want you to make a video of this, in fact, is I want you to write down on a piece of blank paper, like not like a nice notebook that you want to hold on to, all the things that are negative about you. So confidence issues, you struggle with eye contact, you struggle with humor and sarcasm, and you struggle with X, Y, and Z. I want you to write on a piece of paper. And then I want you to take that piece of paper and do something with it, whether that's burn it or crumple it up and throw it out, or put it in garbage, or just do like mutilate the piece of paper as if you're mutilating those ideas. And then what I want you to do is I want you to write another page and write the opposite. I want you to write what you actually want to be feeling. Like, I am confident. I read eye contact well. I can handle and can figure out. I can figure out sarcasm. I can figure out how to have eye contact with people. I'm comfortable shaking people's hands. And I think the affirmations thing you were talking about, Kathryn, was what, like 20 some, like kind of like 21 days, like trying to set a habit for yourself. Repeat that to yourself every day. And every time that thought pops in your head, pull out the piece of paper out of your back pocket and read them either out loud. I would probably recommend out loud because hearing it is important too, but at least read it to yourself every time those thoughts come back in.
Yeah, remind yourself of the truth, and the truth is what you're reading on that piece of paper. The other thing I'll sort of point out as well is you're going to believe what you look for. So if you're looking for reasons why you're not confident, why you're not this, why you're not that, you're going to reinforce and amplify those beliefs. But if you instead shift your focus and look for proof of, why how you are confident, examples of where you're confident. For example, Zach just pointed out that, you've done all these videos with poems. Like, that is amazing. That's incredible, and that needs to be celebrated. Yeah, I'm sure that's one of the very, very many things that you've done that shows how confident you are. In fact, everything you've shared in this chat today has shown a level of confidence because you've really been authentic about the place in which you're coming from. So there's so much power in that, and don't disregard that. So so what I'm saying is, look for proof of where you're the opposite of all these negative thoughts that you're saying, and put your attention to that and amplify that.
I'm going to piggyback off what she said. I don't know who said this quote, but you can't see what you're not looking for. You can't look for what you don't believe in. So first you got to believe, which is what she was saying before. Like, you got to promise yourself that it's time, this is going to change, and I'm going to believe in myself. And then you can start looking for it, and that's exactly what you're going to find.
Absolutely. Definitely believe that.
Oh, she's saying, when am I to do this? Dude, I don't know. When do you want to eradicate this garbage mindset from your life? It's up to you. It could be a year from now. It could be 10 years from now. It could be the day before you die, or it could be right now, or it could be in an hour, or it could be in 2 weeks. Totally.
Or right now, like literally, there's no. Don't waste any more of your energy allowing yourself to have thoughts that are not getting you closer to where you want to be. Like, you want to be happy, you want to be empowered, you want to I think it was you that mentioned that you want to build your own business. Like, if you ever want to do that, you need to change your thoughts. You don't want to get to a point where you're, just to be a little bit like dark, on your deathbed, and then realize that you never even tried to break down your thought patterns so that you can live your best life.
I'd like to address a town meeting. The question on the table is, when should this choice be made? All in favor of it being changed today? All right. 2 votes nay. Are there any votes nay? Well, it's just you and me, so it looks like it's unanimous vote. Gemma, you don't get a say in this. 2-0, it's today.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm like with decisions, Zach. Hey, Gemma, do you know the reason that you're in the chat right now? Because I know why you're here. The reason I want you to try to figure out how to discover why you're here, because the exact reason you're here is the thing that you're kind of unwilling to commit to. You want us to keep pushing you forward towards it, and if we keep pushing you get to keep resisting. It's got to come from you. You can bring you can bring a horse to water, but you can't get him to drink it. So you got all the tools right in front of you. The questions, you're going to pick them up. And one of the things I've said to a lot of my math students, so I feel like math might be like the black sheep of education. Like people just have this thing like math that they don't like it in general. And one of the things I've found is a lot of people say, I can't do this. And then I say, well, were you always able to walk? And they're like, oh, I learned how to walk. I was like, well, what did you say when you were learning to walk? I was like, did you say I can't walk? Well, you might not have been able to talk at that point, but let's say you could. You could say, I haven't historically been able to walk, but that doesn't mean we can't rewrite history. Same thing with math. Like, one of the things I try to be really specific with the way I use my words. Like, I don't say that I have problems. I say that I have challenges, because challenges can be worked through. I don't say that I can't do things. I say that I'm having challenges working with things. What's the other one? I never say I can't. I say I'm having a hard time with it. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I love that. Can I add to that, actually?
So, Gemma, you're saying you know what I'm like with decisions. I would say I know what you used to be like with decisions. That doesn't mean it's going to be like that always. She says, okay, I'm challenging myself. Yeah, I want my own business. Okay.
Yeah, do it.
You. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me dig into my goodie bag of questions here. Any questions, Kathryn, you want to ask me, or you want to ask Gemma, or how many other people? There's a couple other people watching. I'm not sure who's on right now. Is there any question you would want people to answer in the chat, or me?
I'm just having a look through the chat. Looking.
I think we've answered everything, all the questions that have been in the chat. All right, I got my next one for you. So you quit your job, you got a lifestyle that you really like. Hey Mew, free music for your videos. One of the things that I might describe myself as obsessed with is my bucket list. For example, one of the things that I've really wanted for a long time, which I was really glad to have done this with one of my students, is we're talking about fear setting, the Tim Ferriss TED Talk. And one of my students said she was afraid that she would never achieve her goal. It was a ice skating move. It was the full spin and land. And she was afraid she was never going to do it. I was like, I'll tell you what, I'm really afraid I'm going to die before doing a backflip, or that I might die doing a backflip. And so I said, I'll tell you what, let's do a race till the end of the year, see who does their athletic move first, me backflip or you your spin, your jump spin. So after making that little bet, it was just like for pride. It wasn't for money. It wasn't for anything. Although a couple of students chimed in. They're like, yeah, Watson, you're not going to do it. I was like, all right, what do you want to bet? And they're like, iced coffees. I was like, all right, you have to bring in munchkins if I do it. I ended up bringing in iced coffees to them. But I actually signed up for the. I got like I found a trainer that I had made a video about it. It's like 10 minutes. It shows I did 3 training sessions and was able to do a backflip on a gymnastics mat, which is kind of bouncy. But I
Whoa.
landed one pretty much completely on my own. She was a spotter. She just had her hand lightly on my back for about a quarter second at the beginning. But I was able to land one on a gymnastics mat in 3 days.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and so it was all because I challenged someone that I would beat them to the punch on a bucket list item. So, and another thing that on Sunday, I'm going to be collaborating with this guy in Boston, Alexander DeLuca. And I said to him, I guess a little bit similar to me challenging you to do a poem. I said, I wanted to collaborate with him. He's like, yeah, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to hold a free hug sign out somewhere in Boston. He's like, that scares the poop out of me. I should probably say yes. And one of my bucket list items is to get rejected 200 times with a free hug sign. So last time I held a free hug sign, which I didn't get on video, I got about 100 rejections and about 300 hugs. And now I want to smash that record. So my question for you is, what are a couple of the things on your bucket list that you're either working on, that maybe you haven't gotten the courage to start working on, or that you might want an accountability buddy to push you into doing?
Ooh, good question.
Now, do you have a bucket list, like a physical list?
Oh yeah, of course. I wrote out a bucket list about a year ago, and I wish I had my laptop because then I could tell you, I could look at it and think of some ideas. But from memory and from knowing myself, I know for absolutely certain on that list is spending a long period of time traveling the world, more like for a longer period than I ever have, in lots of different cultures, experiencing lots of different things, and also spending a lot of time with like animal welfare organizations. Like that's a huge thing. So that's like my why. Like that's, for me, that's like the thing that keeps pushing me forward and forward. I keep thinking about like when I was in Peru with the homeless dogs and how much fulfillment I got from that, and also kind of the sadness that it left me with, knowing that this stuff is happening. I mean, of course it's happening, but to actually witness it firsthand was really sad. So it's actually what keeps pulling me forward, overcoming all those challenges, because I have that goal so firmly in my vision to, I want to go back to those dogs, but I also want to have a bigger impact on animal welfare as a whole.
Yeah.
So that's my bucket list for sure.
Got it. I was gonna say, as you were talking about traveling, I feel like I've been trying to put together like a couple of different places in like that I want to specifically travel to, and I'll invite you to something. Something me and my wife have talked about is becoming eclipse chasers. We saw the eclipse in America last year.
Oh, cool.
Next year in 2019, there's going to be a solar eclipse going over Chile and Argentina. I don't remember what month it is. I think it's in the summer. But that would be my challenge for you, is one of your next trips, have it be the solar eclipse in South America.
Oh, absolutely. That's epic. I love that.
Solar eclipse was pretty unbelievable. Like it's like nighttime for 2 minutes, and then it goes back to being daytime. Super.
That's insane. Wow. Yeah, I'd love to experience that. That's crazy. Any excuse to go back to South America. So that's awesome.
What did you like about South America?
I loved aside from the dogs, spending a month in the jungle, like swimming in the Amazon River, sleeping in huts, and just feeling really connected with nature. Like that was amazing for me. And then also when I was in Chile, I did a 3-week road trip, climbing all of the mountains and swimming in all these amazing waterfalls, and basically just nature. That was my highlight.
Free music for your videos is saying that most of the items on their bucket list is already checked. I think you got more writing to do.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I decided to, like, one of the interesting things that I've come across since like 2013 is I've written like a bunch of different kinds of bucket lists and goals lists. It's kind of funny is every time I accomplish something huge, I feel like my bucket list gets like 100 times scarier than before because like, what I think I'm capable of is just like totally inflated. And it's like the last one I wrote right after finishing my book was I wanted to be able to donate $100 million towards renewable energy every year. And I have no idea how I'm going to do it. And I think the plan is to make my first million with YouTube probably, and then do some real estate. And then I don't know how I'm going to get to 100 million, but I feel like a million's definitely doable. I feel like a million's not as tough as it used to be.
I feel like you don't need to know how you're going to get there. You've already had the thought and you believe it's possible. So things are naturally going to unfold and take you there.
Yeah. I'm sure as I start getting closer in monetary value to that, things will start opening up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I've asked most of my questions. There are a couple other ones I have, but they're not in front of me. I'm trying to remember what they were. Oh, if you were to assign a reading list so that we could adopt your general mindset, what would be maybe top couple books that you might recommend people read and listen to?
Oh, thanks for asking. I would actually firstly say that like reading has been one of the biggest things that has really helped change my mindset because we have so many subconscious beliefs and we don't even know that we have them because they're subconscious. But as you start reading these books, they start shining a light on all these beliefs that you didn't even know you had, and you start letting go of them because they're not serving you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, reading is just so powerful for your growth and achieving everything you want in life. And also to read from people specifically that have achieved the results that you want to achieve. So I have big goals for, accumulating a lot of wealth so I can actually help these animal welfare organizations and all that kind of stuff. So I've been reading a lot of money mindset books.
Mm-hmm.
Secrets of a Millionaire Mind was the biggest one that completely changed my mindset of what's possible.
Wait,
Because Secrets of a Millionaire Mind.
is that something Eckert?
Yeah. Oh no. You're thinking of Eckhart Tolle, are you?
No. The guy's last name. It's like T. Harvey Eker or something.
T. Harv Eker. Wow. Yeah, that's him. I just looked it up.
Secrets of
Have you read it?
Minds. I've heard of that one before. All right.
Yeah. Well, definitely Secrets of a Millionaire Mind on the top of the list. I mean, I feel tempted to say Rich Dad Poor Dad, but that's such a like a traditional answer, like it's so cliche. But yeah, that one's a really good book, obviously, because that really shows you
I know
what's possible.
I feel like it's still okay to recommend cliche books because I think it further promotes the fact that it's like it's like financial wellness like 101. Like
Yeah.
there's, believe it or not, there's still people in the world that haven't heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like I literally wanted to one of the things I was trying to do as I was working at my last school is I said, I really want to teach the financial algebra class next year so I can teach like finance, investment, like not this algebra BS that they can't apply, but like literally how to get rich. Like I know I'm not rich, but I've read enough that I could teach how to get rich. And like I told a bunch of people, like I want people to do book reports on financial success books. And I was like prerequisites going to be, we'll probably start the year with Rich Dad Poor Dad. I couldn't tell you how many blank stares I got.
Oh my God. You could revolutionize education.
Right. Like, but between you and me, like entrepreneur, I feel like all entrepreneurs have probably heard of it before,
Yeah.
but your average Joe is like 50-50.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, then Rich Dad Poor Dad like is a big one. Like Zach has mentioned, it's a prerequisite. Like that should be the first book that you read.
Mm.
In fact, it's a lot of people's first book that they have read that got them on the path. Um, so yeah, definitely read that one. Um, the one that I really, really, really want to mention is actually Power of Now. Have you read that one, Zach?
Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah. That one really, really talks about the ego that I mentioned. So this one would be really good for Gemma, actually, because it talks about the ego, which is separate to us. It feeds us with all these thoughts that don't serve us, and it really talks about how you can detach yourself from those thoughts and recognize that they're not you and not identify with them. So yeah, that one, Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, for sure. And of the last one I recommend. Can I do one more?
Oh, you can give me 6 more if you want.
Okay, well, I'll definitely recommend The Miracle Morning. Have you heard of that one?
That was the one you were talking about with the guy with the memory challenges.
I did, yeah, I mentioned that one. I mean, I only mentioned one amazing gold nugget from that book, but The Miracle Morning talks about a morning routine that you can adapt every single morning, and if you do it for a minimum of 30 days, it will change your life. It will change your life because it's basically an hour. I think it's 10 minutes that make up an hour. That every activity is designed specifically to empower you in some way or another. So affirmations is obviously a big part of that because that reprograms your mind and your beliefs. Meditation is really important because it does quiet the mind and allows you to be more present, which is really powerful as well. Distresses you. Exercise, obviously, something that's really important. Journaling, really good to reflect and get your thoughts down. And in fact, I can vouch for that one for sure because, like I mentioned, I've been writing for the last however long since I was 12 years old. And just journaling is so, so powerful. And you don't need to pay for therapy. Like you can just do it with a pen and paper and heal yourself. Yeah, I don't remember the other things on the top of my mind, but you should read the book yourself. And yeah, Miracle Morning. Highly recommend that one too.
Let's see. So you got 2 financial, 1 mindset, 1 mindset, 1 more practical, actionable mindset. Anything about like relationships or sort of interpersonal skills you'd recommend?
Well, I haven't read this book yet, but it's sitting on my bedside table, just waiting for the perfect moment. Um, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Have you read that one?
Yeah.
I've just heard so many powerful things about that one. So
yeah, I think the number one thing I took away from that book is once you find out someone's name, like I feel like all the time it's really easy to meet someone and then like you end up talking with them for an hour, but you never say their name and then you forget it by the end of the conversation. And like there's that embarrassing moment where it's like, what's your name again? So what I've decided to do, because in that book they say people love hearing their name, it's like oxytocin bombs in their head.
wow.
Is when, like, I don't know if you've noticed, I've tried to say Kathryn quite a bit today, but when I meet someone for the first time, I try to say their name a lot in that conversation. I try to address them with their name because 1, it helps me memorize their name better, and 2, like it's like it's an easy way for you to build rapport with someone that they don't even recognize that that's why you're building rapport with them, which is a social hack.
I wanna confess something, Zach.
Yeah.
When we started this call, like, 'cause we never really had an official like meeting. Like, you never told me your name, so I didn't say your name because. And the thing is, I actually like to use people's names a lot. I do it a lot. and you didn't tell me your name, and then I didn't want to ask, but then I read in the comments people said Zach. I was like, Zach. I've been using your name since, but I'm really sorry that I didn't use it before. When normally I totally would use it, like with every sentence where I'm addressing you.
Yeah, it's all right. That took courage to admit that live on air. I acknowledge the courage that took.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
I'm not offended in any way.
Okay, that's good.
I'm trying to think of like what other categories of life. Wait, I'm gonna flip through my audiobooks real quick. Are you an audio person or like a physical?
Yeah, I'm on Audible. I think I prefer to read books though, so I can like highlight them. And I do have another financial book actually.
Yeah.
I would put this one right up there with Secrets of a Millionaire Mind.
Wait, I'm gonna guess it before you say it.
Oh no, I already said the first word.
Oh, I didn't hear you say it. Was it?
Oh, good. Okay, go on.
Millionaire Next Door?
No.
Tony Robbins' Money Master the Game?
No.
Don't tell me.
You'll get it eventually, I reckon.
Is it Grant Cardone?
No.
Tony Robbins?
No.
Think and Grow Rich?
Yes, you got it. Think and Grow Rich. I knew you'd get it eventually because that one's a big one. Yeah, that was. I'm still actually in the process of reading that one, so I haven't fully completed it. But the stuff that I have read is like, yes, this is so awesome. This is giving me the mental stimulation that I need. That's like totally driving me closer to where I want to be. So.
The topic that I didn't understand from that book, and I've read it multiple times and I still like don't really get it, is he talks about, and I try to keep this channel PG and I try to not even do PG-13, but I mean, on the playbacks, people are probably not gonna be listening to 2 1/3 hours in. There's a chapter about like highly sexed individuals, and it talks about like people have sort of like sexual desires, and then what they do with them is they take that like feeling and then they like put it towards other stuff that's totally not in that realm. And I just don't get it, and I would love for someone to explain that to me because.
Well, I haven't. As I mentioned, I'm still reading the book, and I have not read that, but I can sort of kind of understand it. It's like transferring like the sexual energy and channeling that into another area of your life. Like I definitely like know that that's possible. Like for example, when you have like kids that have troubled backgrounds or whatever, and they have a lot of pent up aggression and anger and all this kind of stuff, they can go through therapy that helps them channel that energy into something more powerful, like art or writing or something that's going to empower them in some way and help them grow. So yeah, it's absolutely possible to re-channel energy into different areas of your life.
I guess it feels weird to me because like one of the things that I had been doing up until this poetry challenge was I was using poetry to sort of de-stress. So like when there was a moment, like one of the things that would happen at school every once in a while would be I'd get an angry parent email, and I was sort of being accused of something that I didn't get to defend myself about. And so like I'd be sitting there, I'd have like 10 minutes until the next class was coming in, and maybe it was my prep period that I was checking my email. And so I just start writing poetry, like trying to like hash out the thoughts. But I feel like that energy is not really, it's being transferred in a different medium. Like it's going from thoughts to just like metaphoric words. But I feel like, I don't know, it feels like more direct. It doesn't feel like it's like being translated into a different kind of energy. I don't know. But
I think you can do, like honestly, I haven't read this part of the book that you're referring to, so I can't really speak about that specifically, but I feel like you could learn how to transfer that energy through meditation. Like it's absolutely possible. We just got to learn how to do it. You just got to find other people who've done it themselves and do what they do.
Yeah, I guess it's true. All right, one more type of book is a fiction book.
Wow. Like, you know what? I'm going to be honest about something. Before I started this journey with SFM and building my business and all that kind of stuff, I hadn't read a book in, like, I can't even tell you how long. Like, I just felt I was living such a limited existence, and then since I've been on this journey, I've like expanded so much, and I'm more inspired to grow and learn. And so I've read more books since I started this journey than
Right.
I've ever read.
When did this journey start for you?
July last year, exactly a year ago, actually.
It's only been a year? Damn. I was going to say, I feel like I've been sort of on this sort of spiritual / entrepreneurial journey since I took the forum in 2013.
Yeah, wow.
I was very similar. I did not read a full book from about, I estimate about age 15 to age 23. So a solid 8, like went all the way through college without reading a whole book, went all the way through the rest of high school without reading a whole book.
Yeah.
Actually, still don't read much. I just listen. I realized I was an auditory learner.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can totally relate to that because that was me. I hadn't read a book in so many years, and now I feel like, wow, like this is what I've been missing out on, like all of this, because it feels good. It feels good to grow and to learn. Like it's like tingling to the brain. Like new areas of your brain are being stimulated, and it's exciting.
Right. So you don't have any fiction books? It's all right if you don't. I'm not.
Yeah, not that I can really think of, to be honest. Nowadays, I literally only read personal development, growth, money mindset, spiritual books.
Pretty much same here.
Yeah.
Trying to think of, there's another question I had. What continents / countries have you been to? And
I've done. Sorry.
Which ones have you been to, and which one's next?
Well, when I did my 8-month trip, I spent about 4 months in the US. So you said you're in Boston?
Yeah, right outside of Boston.
Where is it called?
Currently in Marlborough, which is about an hour west. And my parents that I spent a lot of time down there is about an hour southwest.
Right, okay. Because I drove through Boston because I did like a road trip from Vermont to Rhode Island.
Wow.
I think Rhode Island or something like that.
How'd you like Boston?
I literally just drove through Boston and sat in traffic for a bit and then drove out of Boston. Like, that was my experience in Boston. But yeah, I spent 4 months traveling around the United States. Definitely the best place I went to was Colorado. And actually, on my bucket list, now that I think of it, my bucket list is going back to Colorado and living there in Denver, because it is surrounded by mountains, which obviously is something I love. And people are awesome. And yeah, Denver. And also Vermont as well. I spent 2 months in Vermont and hiked all the mountains, and it was just amazing. So,
did you Killington?
What was it? Sorry, Burlington.
Killington.
I stayed in Killington in a motel in the middle of nowhere, with no like phone reception or anything, and I had this like really cheap car rental. That almost broke down on me in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night. Trying to drive back to my motel. Like, I love the town, but like the name of the town kind of gives away the kind of feel that you get in that town. But yeah, I hiked heaps of mountains in Killington.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So
where have you been, Zach? Have you been to Australia?
I have not been to Australia. It's definitely on the bucket list. I want to. I'd say some of the top places I want to travel to. I want to see Great Wall of China. I want to go to Rio de Janeiro. See the eclipse next year in Argentina or Chile. I want to go to the UK, see Big Ben. I want to go to. Honestly, the Eiffel Tower is not really high on the list for me, but
Yeah.
I feel like it should probably be on there or something. Um, what if I were to visit Australia? What would you recommend I see? Like, I definitely want to see a kangaroo, like in the wild.
Uh-huh.
But I don't really know much about. I did play rugby, so I feel like I could get along with some people out there. I'm not great at it, but I can play.
Okay. Um, well, I actually know some rugby teams here in Melbourne. Melbourne's the city that I'm in Australia. So if you want to play rugby, I can get you some players to play with you.
I'll probably get wrecked.
But sport isn't really like something I love doing, and something really great about the community, the online community that I'm a part of, is there's people from all over the world. And so when people come to Melbourne or Australia, they come and stay with me, and I get to be a tour guide, and I get to show them everything I love about my city, which I love.
Yeah.
But rugby and sport is not really my specialty. It's not really the first thing I would think of to show someone around.
Or do you are you athletic?
Yeah, I go to gym a few times a week, Pilates a couple of times a week, and I'm starting yoga a couple of times a week.
Nice.
But no sport.
No. Well, I guess if I go to Australia, I imagine I'll probably be with Alyssa, and I'll maybe you can be our tour guide while we're there. I know.
Oh, absolutely! I love it. Sorry.
She also wants to go to I think she's more interested in New Zealand than Australia, but
yeah, New Zealand would be awesome to go to for sure. Yeah.
Trying to think, there's another. Oh, I really want to go to California. I've never been to California. I've made a promise to myself and my dad the other day that I will be making at least a trip to the West Coast next month.
Oh wow!
I'm on sort of a self-discovery kind of journey. I've shared with people in the past couple weeks that I've been going through some stuff that I haven't been all that public about, but I'll be sharing about it soon. And California is going to be one of those things that I think is going to be part of that journey. I've been really wanting to do one of those 10-day meditation retreats.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah, a lot. Are you talking about the Vipassana?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, me too. That's on my bucket list. That's on my bucket list as well. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to find one that works out with my work schedule, because I start back up September 4th, and my cousin has a wedding on August 19th, I think. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to find one this summer, but it looks like there's one I might be able to get into in California. So I'm going to try to go to that. So I guess
think it will.
If you want it, if I get into that, I'll let you know, because they're free. You'd have to make it over.
Yeah, definitely. They're all over the world. I could literally just go somewhere in Melbourne, but going to California would be so much more awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 hours from San Francisco.
Right. Oh, you've already looked into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'll send you the link for it.
Yeah, please do. Thank you. Yeah.
Kathryn, I think this is. I feel like I've gotten to know you really well. I don't know if you have other things on your schedule. I don't want to keep you from them if you do, but I feel like I don't know that there's anything else I could pick your brain without my own brain exploding from all the things we've discussed. I will actually. One more thing is. I noticed on the video you talked about your brother and the soulmate going to a drum and bass concert. So I figured I'd wear this shirt for you. Do you know what that is?
No, is that like a drum and bass label or something?
It's you've heard of Bass Nectar?
Yeah.
That's the Bass Nectar logo.
Oh, is it?
I spray painted it onto the back of my shirt.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Well, who's your favorite artist? Or
I don't have a favorite, but I like love lots of different ones. I'm like more into liquid drum and bass. Do you know what that is?
drum and bass. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like a genre of drum and bass. Like you have jump up, liquid, um, what else is it? Deep, all this kind of different genres. But mine is like more liquid. So I love like London Electricity, Enei. Um, oh god, you put me on the spot. Yeah, I'd have to take out my my Spotify. But yeah, liquid drum and bass, get onto it.
All right, I will. My favorite artist that I like to share with people because he's on the smaller side. I don't like his newer things as much as his older things, but his name's Manic Focus. I would it's like dubstep, but it's like kind of I describe it as kind of funky, so I call it funk step, and I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm making it a thing.
I'm absolutely looking that up. Manic Focus.
Manic Focus, yep.
Okay. Thank you.
There haven't been any other small artists that I've been loving lately. I'm a 21 Pilots fan. I've had their 2 new singles stuck in my head the past like week.
Who's that? Is that a drum and bass genre?
21 Pilots is like alternative rock, I guess you could say, but they call themselves schizo pop or schizo rock because all of their songs almost sound like they're in a different genre. Like,
oh wow,
one of them, he's on a ukulele and it sounds like almost a little bit like he's playing like a Hawaiian type of song. And then one of them's like really, like he's a really fast rapper. He's one of the influences of some of my poetry. But if you look up 21 Pilots, you spell out the whole word 21. They're really popular in the US.
Okay, I have to look it up. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're giving me so much homework. This whole call.
He talks a lot about his emotions. He's gone through depression, a lot of anxiety and stuff. So it's kind of therapy for him. I guess one other one is a rapper. I don't know if you like this. This guy's kind of angry, but I would say he's also a little bit of an influence. His name's Nathan, but he goes by NF, and like one of his albums is called Therapy Session. So it's literally he just like sorts out his life's problems by rapping about them.
Wow, that's awesome. What was his name?
NF.
NF.
Yeah, I think his mother died of an overdose and his father really wasn't there for him when he was a kid. I don't know if he was in a foster home or something, but he had a real tough life growing up. And he's a very talented guy.
Jeez. So that's full on.
He has a song and album named Therapy Session. I thought it was just a great idea for a song.
As in, that's what he wrote? He wrote a song called Therapy Session? Or you did? Yeah. He did.
Yeah.
That's like an amazing example of how you can rechannel energy into a different medium.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, Free Music. My favorite artist is Avril Lavigne because I'm a rebel like her. I don't conform. Does Avril Lavigne still make music? I haven't heard anything from her in a while, but then again, I'm not looking for it. And I don't listen to the radio all that much.
Yeah, wow, Avril Lavigne. That's a name from growing up.
From middle school.
Yeah, like in high school, yeah.
By the way, how old do you think I am?
Well, based on the fact you said you're 26 before, I'm probably guessing about 26.
27. Dang it.
You're 27?
It's kind of funny. I played basketball with these like middle schoolers at a court like 2 minutes from our house. And like I always ask them like, oh, what grade are you in? And then they say like, oh, I'm in the 8th grade or 9th grade. And then I'm like, how old do you think I am? And they're like, I don't know, you're like a sophomore or something.
How old sophomore in America?
How
old is sophomore?
Sophomore is like 15 years old.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Look at you're 15.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
think,
awesome.
well, the goatee, like I got this scraggly looking goatee. So by the way, part of the reason I'm wearing a hat right now is because growth mindset, mind you. I tried giving myself a haircut earlier and I don't think it came out that great. Do you want
You
to
tried
see?
giving yourself a haircut.
So Alyssa has been giving me haircuts for a while and she's just gotten kind of like sick of doing it. And so I've been protesting. So my hair has grown out kind of long. And I was just getting sick of it because one of my I don't know if it's a bad habit, but I think people might judge me for it. And I think I want to kick it is if I'm not thinking, like I would bet if I were listening to and I didn't have this hat on, at some point I would start twirling my hair. And I do it in meetings and I do it in places. But so I didn't trim this at all. This is pretty long, but I like cut the sides a little bit. But I
Wow.
kind
Good
of,
hidden talent.
but yeah, so I feel like I messed up this kind of, and I feel like I messed up that. I can't tell if it's even or not because I can't. It's weird.
You can't get someone to help you?
Yeah, I think I'll probably go to a barber today, or maybe I'll just keep playing with it until I'm bald. Like I'll just keep cutting away, like trying to figure out whether it looks good or not, and then I might just go straight down.
Keep trialing different haircuts, and eventually you'll find the one that you like.
Yeah.
If you fail enough times, you'll eventually like hit the jackpot. So
yeah, I've been bald before. It's not that bad. Well, Gemma, thank you for still being. This is therapy for me, Zach and Kathryn.
Glad you're getting value, Gemma. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad. It looks like there's two other people on, but it's always great to have feedback that what we're talking about isn't just like landing on deaf ears. So thank you for all the feedback you've been giving us.
Can I also just say as well, just to make sure that Gemma knows that she's heard, she said here, we're not all sexual individuals. That's a stereotype. And Gemma, I completely agree with you on that one because I do know a lot of people who are asexuals, which basically means they're not sexually attracted to men or women. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Not everybody is sexual individuals. So
right. Gemma is too.
Gemma's asexual?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're totally validated because I completely agree with you on that one.
Yeah. I'm curious. Well, I guess I don't know how that chapter of that book would apply. I don't know what it's like to be asexual, so I can't really speak to that. But thank you for going back in the comments and pointing that out.
I just know that, like, especially for people who are asexual, they feel like they're not validated, that their sexuality isn't real, and that's because a lot of people can't relate to what that must be like. But like, I'm totally validating that asexuality is a real thing, and yes, you're right that not everybody is sexual.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, she's been sharing some of the challenges she's been having, not problems, but challenges with her community that has been, some have been accepting, some have not been accepting, and she's talked about it a bit. And, yeah, so it's been a great process. Part of I don't know if you knew this about the channel, but I've been having an influx of LGBTQIA+ people find my channel recently because on my other channel, Zachary Watson, had a video about why I have a pride flag in my classroom, and it just 93,000 views or something.
Wow, awesome. Well done.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So yeah, that's been a huge topic we've been talking about a lot. I'm glad you think it looks good, Gemma. I'm glad. I wonder if in person it would not look nearly as good. I feel like it can hide that back here. But either way, unless there's no other questions, Gemma, I feel like is probably gonna conjure up one within the next 45 seconds. But that's all I got.
Cool. How long has it been? It's been like what? 7, 8.
2.75 hours.
Wow. That's
2 hours.
crazy. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, I remember looking at, it was like 6:15. I was like, we really, it's like, my wife's been talking recently about, she goes into nature and time passes both fast and slow.
Wow.
That she feels like she's really present, and or she's like really, she must be in a good place when she has that experience with time. And I tried, one of her friends, Ben, I interviewed recently, talking about like how time's not linear necessarily, and talking about how there's sort of like a magnetic pull about time, and slash a gravity, and it's making sense. And I feel like I'm in a state of flow when I'm interviewing or talking to somebody like you that shares the same mindset. Because honestly, I wish I didn't know what time it was and I had to guess, but I mean, I feel like on some level this conversation's been going on for just over an hour, and then on another level I feel like we've been talking for like 10 hours. So I mean,
so you must be really present and in a really good place, like your wife is when she's in nature.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a good sign for me. I think part of my sort of soul searching that I've been going through recently has been trying to find my purpose, and quoting from that book, Purpose of Life is a Life of Purpose. I feel like this is part of it, is exposing the world to awesome people like you, exposing the world to these mindsets and these ways of thinking that are not the norm, and challenging people to step outside their comfort zones, be the goodest version of themselves, and live a more full life that they didn't know existed. So thank you so much for helping me continue my life's purpose.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, because I've gotten so much value from this conversation, not only from the things that you've shared, like you've opened my eyes to the fact that I can be on a TEDx show. Like that was something that was obviously a limitation that I had that I didn't even realize I had, that was in my subconscious, and you just brought that to my attention, and now I know that that's possible, which makes me also think like that kind of pushes my limits further. Like if that's possible, like what else is possible that I don't know? So I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, you actually said, and then the recommendation for landmark foam, like you've really sort of inspired me, because I've been thinking about it for years, and you talking about it made me realize like now more than ever is the time when I need to be doing these courses that you're talking about. So heaps of stuff. I'm going to rewatch all 3 hours or whatever it ends up being, so I can actually write down every single thing that you said that I should do. And also something I've been thinking about throughout this conversation is, do you remember before when I was saying that you need to build a relationship with your audience by providing value?
Yeah.
You basically do that with every single sentence that you say. Like every time you go to say something, it's always with the energy of providing value in some way. Like you're suggesting something that's going to improve something in some way. You're recommending a book, a course, like a mindset shift. Like you're just doing it naturally. So yeah, you've got the relationship building through value down pat.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. There's a lot of moments when I feel really egotistical sharing a lot of things that I do, because I know it's a lot of personal experiences. And one of the weird things about the book that I wrote is that I promised myself that I would not be a perfectionist about it. Now, I don't suffer from perfectionism at all, but I really went against the world norm that you have a perfect item that goes out on shelves. There were errors in this that I had a pretty good idea that there would probably be errors in this when I came out with it. So a lot of people said like, Zach, you gotta be kidding me. Like you're really going to put out a book out there, like who are you, one, to have a book, and two, you're really going to put it out there with error, like knowing there's probably errors in it. And I was like, yeah, because I want to knock having a book off my bucket list. And I know that whether there's errors or not on here, it's people are going to get something from it. And
Yeah.
also people might get something from it. The fact that I would have the audacity to have errors in it, then they find them and be like, oh wait, that's right. I don't have to make perfect YouTube videos to put them out on YouTube. Like they can be crappy and we can learn from the fact that no one watches them a second time. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of crap for having a lot of imperfect material out there, but
Yeah.
for
But like, we can't listen to people that say that kind of stuff because they're the type of people who hold back and stay in their comfort zone and don't take risks, and they're living a very limited life. So kudos to you for doing that. I read some, I can't remember what the quote is specifically, but it's something about like the one thing that isn't perfect is trying to be perfect, because you're never going to achieve perfection because it's just a constant chasing a never ending like goalpost kind of thing. So I think you've nailed that one by not trying to be perfect.
thank you. Well, for the few, do you guys?
Could I just say something to Gemma, because I read what she said about the fact she feels isolated. I think for her asexuality, I would definitely recommend being a part of asexual communities, because there are actually so many out there, because it's becoming more and more of a known thing. And I know this because the friends that I do have that are asexual, they went through the same isolation that you're probably going through, because people don't understand it. But they are saying that more and more people are becoming aware of it, and there are like international communities that are being formed through it. So I would just do a quick Google search. There's like a main asexual community website. I don't know what it is, but if you just do a Google search, you'll find it. But that's a great way to not be isolated, because you have that choice to not be isolated.
Yeah, I never thought about that before. Community of people that are asexual. That's great.
Yeah, well, there's a community for everything. So if you're ever feeling isolated in any area of your life, go find a community and surround yourself
Yeah.
with people who are on the same wavelength as you.
Yeah, I mean, this is the coolest thing about YouTube is you're in freaking Australia and we're having like a conversation where like we're right here, and Gemma's in the UK. We're literally all around the globe right now.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, it's the future.
Yeah. The future is now. Do you have any good impressions or accents or like funny things that you say?
No.
Can you speak in an American accent?
When I was traveling the States, I found it so much easier to mirror them. And in fact, I think I even adopted a little bit of it naturally. um, how do I even do it?
Read out loud the comments in an American accent. Try that.
Okay.
And then I'll try reading them in an Aussie accent.
Okay. All right. I like this game. All right. I'm okay. I'm gonna read a couple of Gemmas.
Yeah.
In an American accent. I've got a new poem called "Inside My Secret Mind for Today." That was horrible. Would love to collab with Kathryn. There's not enough R's for me to really get it across. Yeah. I'm a writer of short stories. Oh god, it's horrible. But unsure of it. Anyway, you go, your turn.
I love how much you're forcing that R right in there. All right, I'm gonna go from the bottom.
Okay.
Thank you both of you. I'm off now. Thank you for everything. The thing is still LGBTQ, still very much judged, but I'm proud to be in this community. Thank you for
Oh,
bringing your voice back again. At the same time, it's been really isolating. Zach, I want you to know how proud I am of you both. How's that?
it sounds like a country person in America. Like you had like moments of Australian, which were actually really good, and then you kind of slipped into like a country American accent.
It's so funny.
But your attempt was like 1,000 times better than mine, so well done.
Whenever I try to do English accents, they always turn into Australian.
So show me your English accent.
Uh,
British. I'm from England.
Thank you both. I'm off now. Thank you for everything. The thing is still LGBTQ is still very much judged, but I'm proud to be in that community. Thank you for giving me my voice back during this time. It's been very isolating.
That's great.
Thank
It
you.
sounded like you were actually switching between different areas of England.
That
Because of all the
sounds
different
about right.
accents?
Yeah.
Huh?
'Cause I've never been there, and I only have movies and like artists to base it off of.
Well, you were very good at slipping between the different areas. So
Right.
nice work.
You know, a really funny bit. Have you ever heard of Trevor Noah?
No.
Trevor Noah, he's a South African comedian that he now has a regular show in America, and it's. Do you have Netflix over there?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you go to Netflix, next time you want to watch a comedy, go and watch Trevor Noah, Afraid of the Dark. I don't remember the last time I've laughed my ass off for that long, but he does this one skit. I mean, the whole thing's super funny, but he does this one skit. He's really good at Russian accents, Indian accents, and English accents. And South Africa is like kind of English.
Yeah, yeah.
And he has a conversation between a guy that's English that's about to try to colonize India and an Indian guy. And he just goes back and forth between the two, and it's so funny. But I feel like I've gotten pretty good at an Indian accent. I'm gonna try that one too. Ready?
All right, ready.
Yes, got my. Oh wait. Yes, got my poem to do. Shortly, the negative and positive video be done today. The thing is, still LGBTQ is very much judged, but I'm proud to be in the community. Thank you for giving my voice back during a time that's been very isolating. Zach, I want you to know how proud I am of you.
That's perfect. Well done.
Thanks.
The best one.
I think that one right there is just from listening to him do it. It's so much fun once you get it. It's like you gotta tighten your cheeks or something. I don't know how to describe it. I'm glad we had a little bit of fun here. We just went on for see, this didn't feel like 15 minutes. It felt like 5 or something.
Wow.
All right. I don't even have anything to do with the rest of my day. I guess I'll have to sleep at some point, but I think I'm gonna go work on my music video.
Yeah, do it.
All right.
Do it. I'm gonna have to look for your previous ones.
Well, I'm thinking in the near future, there's definitely going to be more collaborations with people doing interviews and or probably talking about certain subjects. Like my friend Ty Speaks, he's been on quite a few times now. We both live in Massachusetts, and like he invited me the other day with 2 other YouTubers to talk about like mental health. So I'm thinking you're going to be one of my go-to people if I want to talk about all the many things we've discussed today. So keep your heads up for that. And do you ever do live things on Instagram?
I'm gonna start doing them.
I was going to say a lot of time when I'm not when it's like just me speaking and it's not a Google chat. A lot of times I'll do Instagram live as well. I'm way smaller than you are in that category. But next time, I would say you might want to consider, if you're continuing to build both YouTube and Instagram, do them simultaneously. Like have YouTube live on your laptop and have your phone there for Instagram. And
wow.
You just put out the same. I do Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the same time often.
So is this on Instagram right now?
No, because then they wouldn't be able to see your face. But something happened recently where if I go live on Instagram, I'll get requests like that people want to join me. So apparently you can do this, like what we're doing right now. Apparently you can do fairly simply. Um,
Oh,
so yeah, if you're ever on, I imagine that I'm probably not live streaming when you are paying attention to that. But if you catch me live streaming, feel free to send me a request on Instagram to like just jump in the conversation, because it's my students all the time asking to be on there, and nothing against them. It's mostly that because I have a student-teacher relationship, it's a little, so there's some fuzzy gray areas around like what's acceptable for me interacting with them on social media. So
yeah.
I would happily have you on Instagram. It'd be cool to have. I mean, you're like an Instagram star over there.
Well, you've helped me grow my following through your massive YouTube following. It's only fair that I do that with my Instagram following.
I mean, you don't have to do that. What are you at for subscribers now?
Let's have a look.
It would make my day if we're at 16. I have the feeling
16.
I have the feeling that we did not do that though. 16, because that would double your channel.
Really? I've got 9 subscribers, which is great because I think I only had like 3 or 4 before or something.
You were at 4 about 3 days ago.
And one of them was you. One of them was like my housemate, and I don't know who the other 2 were. So thank you. I really, really appreciate that. I will definitely leverage my following and what's that word? Plug you in. Like maybe we'll do a live together.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, for sure. I've just got to like work it into my theme, which is traveling.
Yeah.
So did you say you're doing the meditation thing soon?
I'm hoping to do that. I hope that my application gets accepted. I don't know if it will. It's, there's like wait lists for everything. Apparently, like the moment that these things come out, there's a wait list for it. So, you're for the Vipassana, you're not. They ask that you don't go on multiple wait lists at the same time. So I'm waiting to find out if the one that I applied to will work out or not. If not, then I'll apply to another one. So I think the woman's one is closed for the one that I'm applying to, but I think the other one, it'll be open. Either way, I'll send it to you. So I don't know if I am yet, but I do plan to be in California next month.
Okay, well, because I think it would be awesome if I can get you whilst you're traveling in some way. We'll definitely talk about the stuff that you do, like make it relevant to your niche and what you're up to and stuff. And I'll encourage people to subscribe to your channel and follow you on Instagram and stuff. But yeah, I need to link it to my niche because obviously a big part of your online presence is it needs to be congruent.
Right. I'm trying to think of
all of my if you have a look at my feed, it's basically just photos of like mountains and
one of the things I love doing is like social challenges. So for you as a poem, and for Sunday it's going to be holding the free hug sign. But I've been trying to think of a good social challenge to do when traveling. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. I guess no. I think one thing I love doing, but it's super comfortable for me, so I don't think it's challenging for people, is whenever I see 2 people about to take a selfie together, I just say, give me your camera. I'm gonna take that picture for you. But what would be a good like comfort zone thing that you could do while traveling?
I definitely make a conscious effort to put myself out there and talk to people. Just introduce myself and stuff. Actually, you know what a bigger one is? be a yes man or a yes woman. Like whenever you think of something, like that was something my friend who has issues with his confidence, who's gone overseas recently, I basically programmed in his mind to be a yes man. So that anytime he has any kind of opportunity come up to like go on some adventure, to do any activity, he has to respond with yes. And to not to be a delay, like, and allow himself to have time to like talk himself out of it. He has to just be like yes straight away. That's a good challenge. Like just yes everything.
It's a good movie too. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, definitely.
The Jim Carrey, I think.
Jim Carrey, yeah.
I'm realizing a good comfort challenge I think would be is find strangers sightseeing and like ask them to take a goofy picture with you, or like do a dance move with you that's gonna go on your Instagram or something.
Wow, that's cool.
Like you could teach them how to do the backpack kid dance flossing, or you could teach them how to do the shoot dance, the block boy dance, or like I don't. Is Fortnite big over in Australia?
Fortnite, as in 2 week period?
No, it's a video game. It's
no.
Like if you spend enough time on YouTube, you will see Fortnite things. But there's like these Fortnite dances that there's a ton of. There's like these dance moves you can buy for your character or something, but people have been doing them all over the internet. So I've been having fun. Like I've been trying to do them on my Instagram. I'm kind of all over the place. I just try to post things in general.
Can I have your Instagram? What is it?
Zach Thinkshare, ZACH. But yeah, recently it's just been me kind of dancing. It's like when the moment strikes, I'm like, I think this would go good.
I love that. There you are. Now follow back. I didn't realize that you'd followed me.
Of course.
Now you have 701 followers.
Nice.
Athlete casual. I could give you some tips on how you can improve your Instagram.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Like keywords. Like
oh, that's right. I don't use any hashtags or anything.
But do you want to take Instagram seriously, or you're not too fussed about it?
I don't know. I feel like
you could totally use Instagram to grow your YouTube channel, because Instagram is such a powerful, like, if anything, I should be like, the thing about my YouTube channel, the reason I only had 4 was it wasn't really something I really thought I was going to put much effort in or focus in. But if anything, you're the person that's really made me think, shit, like I should be working on my YouTube channel more consciously, and I can link my YouTube channel to my Instagram and make them complement each other.
Right.
But yeah, you could totally use your Instagram to grow your YouTube channel, and vice versa.
Well, I've been doing a lot of streaming on Instagram, like that's the same content as YouTube, and it shows up in my Instagram story. But I have my posts have been just all over the place. Like the last 3, there's one, it's me dancing to that Drake Hotline Bling song. And then one of them, we got a permit for our house. So I'm excited about that. And then one of them is a poem. And then one of them is me dancing to like a street performer playing the drums. And then one is me showing that one of my students put glitter on my face for the private grade. And then one of them is me showing that I did an interview with a UFC fighter, and it's pointing them to YouTube.
Cool.
And then one of them is the one where I have like a macaroni necklace. That's me doing a Musically to Iced Out by Lil Pump, but with my students, I did an origami exercise where we took American dollar bills and turned them into rings. So I wanted to just show off the rings.
That's awesome.
Dancing in one of the other. And if you scroll down far enough, I have, which actually this kind of took me some time, is, I don't know if you can see it. sort of, but
Mm.
9 blocks and tried to put it together as one thing. And the question, it says, will he land it?
9 blocks.
There's like 9 videos that's actually supposed to be like one big picture.
Oh, hold on, 9 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, I think is it like the colorful blocks?
They're disconnected, but if I were to, I think I'd have to put in 2 posts and then it would all match back up.
Oh, wow. Oh, like it's like one of those Rubik's cubes.
Right. If you click each one of them, you'll either find me whiffing on a backflip or landing it. I think it's the one with the "it" question mark where I actually land the backflip.
Let's find it.
It's like that one I put a lot of effort into and it was fun to make. So I was thinking anytime that I do something like cool on YouTube, like not just a live stream,
Yeah.
I think I'll make like a big Instagram post for it.
Yeah.
Like when I make my next music video, I think I'll probably have a couple clips of that showing up on Instagram.
If Instagram, like, is Instagram something you want to use to like help with your YouTube presence and all that kind of stuff? It is. Because if it is something you want to use, your feed isn't, because when you look at an Instagram feed, you want to, like, for example, if you looked at mine, if you didn't read the description or anything and you knew nothing about me, instantly looking at my feed, what is my page about?
Travel.
It's about travel, right? You need to, because you only have a couple of seconds to have somebody's interest. Like if they're just browsing Instagrams, they need to know instantly what your page is about and also what it needs to capture them and actually keep them on your page for long enough to, I don't know, care to follow you, that kind of thing. But when you look at this Instagram feed, like I don't know what it's about. It looks like your personal life or something.
Yeah, I don't even know what it's about. It's just me being goofy, kind of.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like if you want to use it specifically for YouTube, somebody needs to look at it and instantly know that's what it's for. And there's ways you can do it, like, and the other thing as well is you do need. How often do you post?
Probably every couple days.
Yeah, because frequency is important, but you do, to a certain extent, need to be selective. Like you can't just be it's not like Facebook where you can just upload like 30 photos, whatever. You've got to be selective, like know that what you're uploading is actually adding value to your messaging and your image and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of weird is some of the video ones have been getting like a couple hundred views, which
really,
like that Hotline Bling one, 277.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
229. The me with the pink shirt, almost 600.
Oh, dude, that's amazing. Are you getting new subscribers from this?
I don't know.
Okay. Because these are obviously really awesome. Like you're getting a lot of views, but you want to be converting them to subscribers, right?
Right.
I would just probably be thinking, oh my God, is that you dancing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's you dancing. That was awesome. No wonder you have 600 views. That is sick. Oh my God, that's so I love it. It's so good. Yeah, these videos are obviously awesome. Maybe there needs to be more calls to action. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, watch the whole thing in my YouTube channel. That's good. That's so good.
Maybe I just make Instagram me dancing.
It's so awesome. You could, because you just got to be consistent.
Yeah.
Whereas this just seems like really random and all over the place. But yeah, you dancing for sure. What's that dance called?
Which one are you looking at?
Well, they all look very similar. It's like moving all your limbs, like, or are they all different?
I think some of them are the same, but those are the Fortnite dances.
Oh, it's so entertaining. I would definitely follow a page that just had these dance moves.
All right.
And it's so fun.
And I think I think I'll just get rid of some of the other ones. Do you think
I
it
would
would be worthwhile to get rid of some of the other things that
I
are
would
not?
I would definitely there's definitely value in going through your page and then deleting the ones that are just what's the word? Like just air, like they add nothing.
Okay.
They're not interesting, fun, exciting. They don't inspire people to subscribe to your channel. Because you want to make it look as clean as possible in terms of like every photo is like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is
yeah, get rid
there,
of the
is there
blanks.
anything that looks really obvious to you that's really not helping me?
um, these thumbnails for the videos, like it's a shame that I don't know if we can even change them, but it's a shame. Like it'd be great if they were more capturing and more like visual, like appealing.
Oh,
Because actual content itself is great. Sorry.
the UFC one?
Oh no, like the videos, like on your Instagram feed, like
Oh yeah. Well, you
some of
can
them are just of your shirt.
you can edit them.
Oh, you
The
can?
hard part is like you have to go into like iMovie and stuff and fix them. But like you can do that, and there are a lot of people that do that.
Oh, that's good.
So like if you look at the backflip ones, like the image on top is a picture, but if you click it, it's a video.
Image on top is a picture.
So like go down to the one where like you can see there's a lady in like a pink tank top, and then
Oh yeah.
by her feet it says it's like a half of a D, and then it says it question mark.
Uh-huh.
Right? So it first look that if you didn't see the video icon, you would think that that's a picture, right?
Yeah.
But then when you click on it, it's a picture for a quarter second, and then it's a video.
Wow. Oh, cool. So you can do it.
And I
If
think
you
I'm
can
pretty
do
sure
that,
that
and
land.
huh?
I'm pretty sure that was the backflip that actually landed.
And so, did you do that yourself? Did you change those images?
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you want to put any, sorry, go on.
I think it took me an hour. I figured out how to take. It was one still shot. I cut it into 9 pieces, and then grab 9 different videos and put them all just after a picture in a short, like 30-second video. I think they're all slow-mos.
That's so sick. That's awesome. But you can't go back and change them, can you? There has to be like new ones that you put up.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's
I'm thinking I might get rid of some of these.
well, I would definitely recommend because otherwise, if you don't do what you've done there, where you've changed the picture, you're gonna get videos that are just your shirt. Like if you have a look at 4 rows down, the first image is a jumper. Oh wait, you called them a sweatshirt, which is not like yeah. You want something more like that tells people what the video is going to be and like
Okay.
that looks good in the feed.
Hmm. That's a good point.
Yeah, so like yeah, it'd be good if you could change the opening image.
Are there I'm realizing besides the one that literally says teacher evolution of dance, you
Yeah.
can't tell I'm going to be dancing in any of them.
Yeah, like that's good that you've got that title. Do you use I feel like you must. Let me have a look at YouTube channel. Do you use oh what's that website called where do you know what the website's called where you can change thumbnails on like YouTube and Instagram? It's
Oh,
like
you
a
use them all at once for all 3 platforms?
no, it's like it's a website that makes making really nice pictures really easy. Oh no. Oh shit, what's it called? Oh, I need to tell you what it's called because let me have a look at your YouTube channel because I feel like you must do it. How do you design your thumbnails?
A mixture of different things, but for live streams, it's usually I just say cheese for when it starts, when it like counts you down 3 seconds and then takes a picture right before live streams. But like today's, I used my laptop, used photo booth to take a picture of me pointing, and then I stole your picture, put it in, like cropped it in, and then added some text. So I used Preview on my Mac.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you about a really awesome website. Let me just quickly find out what it is, because it's a really cool. Like, if you have a look at the thumbnails on my YouTube channel, I'm like a total noob at them. Like, they look so amateur.
They get the job done though, because like you can tell by your thumbnails what you're watching.
Yeah, so and that's what this website's really good for. Like instead of it being a random shot of your sweatshirt, have it like you with like a funny face or something. Like in one of my things, it was feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I've like screenshot a part of the video where my eyes like wide open, I look really silly. And I only made that face for like a second, but I screenshot that, and it just, I don't know, I feel like it will make people want to watch it more than just having a random motion shot.
Right.
Do you agree?
Yeah,
Or not?
I totally see what you're saying.
I'm gonna find out the name of this thing. It really does make making these thumbnails so easy, and I think you'd be way better at it than I would be. You seem more kind of technical minded.
I mean, I've been practicing for 400 videos.
Yeah, well, there you go. Where is it? It should be here somewhere. Because I want you to I want you to favorite this. Where is it? I know. It should be here. It's on the tip of my tongue. I might have to just tell you another time, but yeah, you should definitely use that to change your thumbnails.
Okay. Yeah, send it to me. Yeah, so going forward, is the best way to communicate with you email or that YouTube chat thing?
I'd say email to my Gmail account. Are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Facebook's the best place.
Messenger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Part of my job is I'm on Facebook pretty much 24/7. So.
Yeah, she said, I asked if she was getting any value out of this discussion about Instagram. I kind of forgot that we're still live and that I'm pretty sure I'm one of the watchers, you're one of the watchers, and I think Gemma's the third person. But she said, personally, I don't use Instagram, but I'm strongly getting value out of this interview. I've cried now, I'm smiling.
Aw, that's awesome, Gemma.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank
Gemma.
you.
She said she's going to be going live shortly.
Awesome. What's the channel? It was specializing on autistic kind of experiences.
Yeah, she's I would say she's building a community to help people accept people with autism, spread awareness, and I think just help people be comfortable and understanding of what people that have autism go through.
That's awesome. That's hugely valuable. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, I was proud of her. When I did an interview with her, she was saying that someone was saying like, Gemma, like you're autistic. You can't have a YouTube channel. And I was saying back, like, you should shove it in their face and be like, yeah, it's really hard to click a button and talk.
Wow. It really surprises me, some of these mindsets people have. I've got the website, by the way.
Oh, okay.
It's canva.com.
I think I've heard of that.
canva.com. You like upload a photo and yeah, you can edit it and make it into like thumbnails and what are they called? The banner at the top of YouTube channels and Facebook and yeah. Anyway, you should check that out.
That might have been the one that I used for my banner. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to master, because one of my main rules is that if I can cut down the amount of work that I have to do, I will. Like, I discovered one day that it's much easier to do a 3-hour like a collaboration with somebody by doing an interview with them for 3 hours rather than doing a 40-minute interview than editing that video for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Same amount of time, but like 100 times more valuable to do it live, because people can actually ask questions live. So I think I'm gonna master the habit of, as I'm about to do a video of me dancing, is I'll have to make sure I'm posing in a like a pose that looks like I'm dancing, so that the beginning of the clip, actually, I can just take the video and then make sure to edit the clip so that the first frame of it looks like I'm looks like I'm dancing. That won't be that hard.
Yeah, I'll do that for sure. As long as that initial image is like capturing and not like of your sweater.
Now, do you think that if on Instagram I do a ton of dancing, which gets a lot of attention,
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily what I do on YouTube, do you think that's bad because it's not
Congruent?
it's not branding the same message?
Yeah. It's not congruent because people who want to look at your Instagram have to be the same niche that want to look at your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're typically mismatched niches. Like, unless you want to start like a separate dancing like thing, that's pretty cool. But you'd have to rename your Instagram name and
Yeah.
description and have a channel specifically.
Maybe I'll just start doing more Gary Vaynerchuk like things, where on Instagram it's just like he's just talking about stuff, and it'll be just short little 20-second clips or something.
Like inspiring motivational stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's more in line with your channel and stuff.
I just
like
I want to put it on Instagram, and I'm too lazy to have 2 Instagram accounts, I think. Maybe I'll just leave that for Musical.ly, or if Vine still existed, that would be useful too.
Yeah. Sounds like you have too many talents and not enough Instagram accounts.
It's just so damn joyful to do random dancing when you feel like it.
Yeah, definitely. But there's definitely a lot of value in keeping your Instagram tight and concise and communicating exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you've had so many views, which is so amazing, but have they converted to subscribers?
Yeah. I wonder how many of that's like my students watching it and be like rewatching it, like look at this, Watson's acting crazy, like watch this.
And then showing their parents and their friends and
yeah.
I love that you have such a big following amongst your students.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because some of them get really into it and like they'll request stuff, and like some of them you kind of hope are into it, but they really just don't care at all because they're teenagers and
yeah,
they have their teenage angst going for them.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, I'm really glad that we got to talk and hang out here. It's been a long and short 3.5 hours.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I got so much value, so thanks heaps. And
Awesome.
we'll tee up something on my Instagram for sure. Preferably when you're traveling, so I can tie it in, and then we can talk about what your channel's about.
I was also thinking about doing in this self-inquiry stage of my life. I was thinking about doing a road trip across America over to California, but I know Alyssa can't because of work, and I don't know if I have any friends that'll ride alongside me, so I might just fly. But that's another idea stirring in the pot that I'll let you know if I end up doing that.
Yeah, I think you should road trip, and meet people along the way, or just find people that would go with you or something.
Yeah,
I want an adventure.
yeah. It doesn't have to be across America. It could just be to other places that are much more manageable than 48 hours away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, clearly, I don't want to say goodbye because we just keep the conversation going. But I mean, I guess we don't have to end it, but it just feels wrong not to end it because I feel like there's I don't know what I'm saying. It just feels appropriate to call it a day here.
Yeah. Well, I've got to get home. I'm in my office, and I need to drive like an hour to get home, so I should probably go do that.
You look like you are home.
Well, this is my parents' home. This is where I have my office
Oh,
because I live in a small 2-bedroom apartment on the other side of town. And it's a good way for me to separate myself from work. Like I come here, I work in my pajamas because yeah, and then I go home.
okay.
Otherwise, if I live and work in the same place, like the lines get really blurred.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you go home then. You can eat supper and hang out with your roommate.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the chat.
You
It's
too.
been great. All right.
So for anyone else besides Gemma, because I know she's already liked and she's already subscribed to both of us, if you've made it 3.5 hours into this this YouTube video, give it a like if you liked it. Please go over to her channel and subscribe if you got some value out of this. If you didn't feel this, it didn't answer your questions, and you can't believe you just wasted 3.5 hours, give it a dislike. And you know someone that might get some value out of it, share with them. Do you know what I do at the end of all my videos?
What?
I salute the camera and I tell the viewers to stay weird. So I'm gonna hand this one off to you. Ready? So I say, so thank you all for watching. And Kathryn?
Stay weird.
Yeah.